Welcome back to the Pod of Greed.
Welcome back indeed. This is a special episode, sorta. It's episode 50.
That's right, y'all. The big 50.
Yeah, so we've been doing this podcast 50 weeks in a row. So I was looking, like more or less. I was looking, and in 2 more episodes, we'll like to go like the anniversary episode.
Oh, we gotta do it big for
so we're gonna do something special. Some giveaway maybe. Maybe like a pot like this, or maybe like one of those like pot mugs, the small ones.
I don't know, because I think they forgot about our anniversary. Y'all forgot, didn't y'all?
Actually, some people have been reminding us.
Oh, like, so did we forget about our anniversary? Oh,
man,
we no good ones in the relationship.
So, anyways, happy to see you all here. Hope you're having a great week. This is a big week of news, actually.
It's honestly the week we've been waiting for so many weeks.
Yeah, it's the week that many weeks have led up to, you could say. First of all, shout out to anyone who is watching the premiere right now on YouTube.
Put your ones up in chat.
How that goes. We should probably have them put up 2s, like, Pot of Greed draws 2.
It does?
It does. I recently realized
I was playing an old game, and it says you only draw 2 if you have 2 slots in your hand.
Yeah, we got to talk about those old video games. Just before we get into any stories, actually, we've been playing some old retro Yu-Gi-Oh games for a video. And let me just tell you, these old Yu-Gi-Oh games are...
They're a mess.
There's something else. There's so many of them have these weird rules.
To the point where it's like, did they even know what Yu-Gi-Oh was when they...
I don't think so. So when we say like these old Yu-Gi-Oh games, like we're talking like Dark Duel stories on Game Boy.
The Sacred Cards.
Yeah, like all these like Game Boy GB, Game Boy Advance games, PS1 games. You've been playing Sacred Cards. I've been playing Dark Duel Stories. Yeah, in Dark Duel Stories, like there's these alignment systems where it's like forest beats wind beats earth beats whatever, and then so it's like shadow beats light, but light beats like spirit,
fiend.
Which beats like
light
fiend,
beats fiend,
light beats fiend beats
and then fiend
dream,
beats dream,
and then dream beats. Yeah, it's like there's so much. It's really crazy.
Like we're working on a video and we're playing through all these old games, and we're kind of struggling. Yeah. Because, you'll be playing this old game and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm beating a mess out of Little Weevil. I just summoned a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then he, like, immediately kills it with some little fiend thing. And
because it has the proper alignment.
I tributed 2 monsters for my Blue Eyes to get killed by a monster with 300 attack.
Yeah, shout out to old school Yu-Gi-Oh games. They are a different thing
They're
altogether.
A different breed.
Anyway, so before we get into the big news, do have another review. There's actually a second review from Downtown Andy, you might remember.
It does sound familiar.
He actually said that I've had a very difficult time getting our local card shop to do a casual night. Oh, of course, we got a 5-star review. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Snake Eyes dominates the meta here, and the closest place that does a casual night is an hour away. It's unfortunate, but it's a money game now because the regulars want to win as much as possible so they can sell the ultis from the OTS packs and the chase cards from the most current packs to finance their next $1,000 deck.
That makes a lot of sense,
story.
Actually. Yeah, that makes sense.
Many locals are like this. I think the hardest part about getting a casual night started is typically just, finding a night that like your local card shop can do it. I know like a lot of shops are crammed mini nights. But then also B, I guess you gotta like find the people.
You gotta find a reason for people to buy into an event like that.
If you have one an hour away though, it might be worth going like once just to see what it's like. I mean, even if it's not like an every week thing, that's a bit of a drive. It might be worth, I would say, checking it out. There's
also a chance that if they hold a casual night, and if you can then tell them, hey, we were going to hold a casual night at our locals like an hour this way. If you get a few people coming from there and a few people from your own locals together, you might get something.
So definitely try it. I know the pain of the locals where everybody just wants to win, and like that's it. I hate that. But conversely, I mean, they're called Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments for a reason, so...
I mean, you kind of get what you pay for. Yeah. Almost literally in this case.
Yeah, I guess you get what you pay for. But thank you for the review. As always, guys, if you're listening on any podcast platform, we always appreciate your positive reviews. I think it apparently helps us surface more on these sites. I'm not sure how each one works.
I appreciate it, even if it doesn't,
Yeah, I mean, even so, yeah. You need thumbs ups on YouTube. Thumbs up the premiere. That's cool, too. They say that helps. I've heard that.
Yeah. And you guys that super chat the premieres, you really don't have to, but we'll appreciate it.
So, it's time to get into the nitty gritty of this podcast.
You mean the celebration?
There's been some big news.
We're on an all-time high right now. Yu-Gi-Oh and Konami can do no wrong. I love them.
Yeah, it's only good things to talk about.
This is everything.
Only good things. We just got a new ban list for those of you who are living under a rock, and there's just so much to talk about here.
I just want to bring it up right now, right from the jump. This ban list did not take too long. It came out exactly when it needed to. My life is elated. I have never been better. My skin is clearing up. I was feeling sick a few days ago. Now I'm healthy. All because of this.
So we got the April 2024 Forbidden Limited List update, and there are some really big major changes that are worth a discussion. So I guess we're going to just take this one by one. There's a lot of community response to it. I've made a video about it, so you can watch that for some of my reactionary thoughts on it. I've had a little bit more time to marinate. I'm sure that you guys listening have as well. So, yeah.
Here come the very even and mild takes.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see plenty of those. Okay, so 4 new Forbidden cards. There's Link Karibo.
Let's go.
Baronne de Fleur,
right.
Borlode, Savage Dragon, and Summon Limit. So just off the bat, how are you feeling about these hits?
Ecstatic. I could not be happier. We saw a floodgate go. We see 2 different kind of end board combo deck staples go. And I hate to see Karibo go, but
Link Karibo, not regular Karibo.
Yeah, not regular Karibo. That would be weird. But I hate to see Link Karibo go, but if it means that my Snake Eye main deck doesn't
have to change,
then I'll take it. I'll take it.
You're happy. Yeah, so these are all really, really, really big ones. For sort of different reasons, but I think that the elephant in the room was the Baronne de Fleur and Borlode Savage Dragon hits. Mostly because I'm not going to lie.
The witch is dead.
I didn't think Konami would do it.
You think they have it in them?
Yeah, I really didn't think they had it in them. Like, I mean, everyone kind of knows that these Omni Negate, very generic synchros, easy levels, level 8 and 10 is like super easy for decks to make.
10 is easy now. That's crazy.
And they're Omni Negates, right? They can negate anything, and they're big, they're 3K, and it's just these cards they've really kind of dominated combo Yu-Gi-Oh for the past 3+ years.
Combo Yu-Gi-Oh has kind of
that's what modern Yu-Gi-Oh is.
Yeah,
a lot of decks end on these cards, and so I'm pretty glad to see the back of them personally. I really don't care for Baronne de Fleur. I don't care for Borlode Savage Dragon.
I'd probably rather see Baronne from behind than Borlode.
Yeah. So the big reason why is just because like these are cards that they, in my opinion, kind of drain a lot of individuality from mini decks. Mini decks just like kind of rush to make Baronne. They rush to make Borlode Savage.
How else are you going to avoid Nibiru?
Yeah, they are what allow a lot of decks to play around Nibiru, specifically Baronne more so. And I like that they're gone because I think that I am not a big fan of Omni Negates. I don't like kind of the idea of someone having to like deal with a board of like 3-4 negates and all that stuff. But also just because like there are so many decks where you would rather make Baronne than make your deck's in-theme boss monster.
Yeah.
And that's never really...
I mean, I can never get over how upset I was when they made the Fleur boss monster a generic synchro. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm so surprised they didn't just make it like take a wind or just something. But.
Something. They didn't limit it at all. And because like I remember I had the Fleur cards and I was like, okay, they're going to get a boss monster soon. Great. That'll be dope. Then we got this generic thing that everyone wanted to use. It was immediately priced higher than I was willing to invest in a Fleur strategy.
Yeah, it was the card that everybody had to have. Now, speaking of the price of it, that's also a secondary thing that's got people a little bit up in arms over not the reprint, but over the banning, is because Baronne de Fleur, when it first released, was like very expensive.
Yep.
It got a reprint in Maze of Memories and was still quite expensive. And then finally in Rarity Collection was when it became like truly, for the everyman. You could get a lot of different rarities of Baronne de Fleur. It wasn't short printed or anything. It was very easy to get. And people who, a lot of maybe more casual or just sort of budget rogue players who had been eyeing a Baronne de Fleur, probably losing to it a lot and wanting a copy for themselves. They finally got one in Rarity Collection last year. And same with Borlode Savage Dragon was also in that set. But they got that, and now like a few months later, Baronne's banned, and it kind of feels like a bit of a slap in the face.
But it's a slap in the face that I think Yu-Gi-Oh players should kind of be used to by now. Mm-hmm. Like, typically, when a very powerful card becomes widely available, its head is on the chopping block. We've had this happen to us before. I think maybe it hasn't happened to this degree in a while, and people kind of forgot that this is kind of how that goes.
Yeah, the longer you've played, I don't want to say I'm justifying that like this.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't happen. It still sucks.
It definitely sucks.
It does suck, but if you've played Yu-Gi-Oh long enough, you kind of know this is how it goes. Like this is the way of
you kind of get burned, and it's either by vendors or by Konami. Like,
yeah, I want to give Konami the benefit of the doubt here and say that I don't think that they like intentionally put like Barone and Borreload Savage into Rarity Collection, knowing that they would definitely be banned here, and like that it was all kind of just this huge ploy. I know a lot of people are going to disagree and they're going to be like, no, Konami just did it to sell, like they tried to sell all their Rarity Collections and they banned them and now you have to like buy the new thing. Like I get that conspiracy, I do, but I don't think that at least in this case it was like intentional. It's just more that like it's an unfortunate thing. But if it was intentional,
let me put my Konami apologist hat on.
Okay.
All right. So there is a train of thought that the ban list was so delayed to give people a chance to play with their reprinted Barones and Savages.
Oh, maybe that's
like
was trying to give you an extra couple weeks.
Taking the hat off.
Nah, I don't know. I mean, I guess because we'll never really know, and the best you can do
because they don't explain shit.
Yeah, I'll just focus on. They really don't. I'll just focus on the kind of what we do have, which is that these cards are banned.
They are gone.
And a big takeaway from this is not just that like the general combo deck is hit more, right? Like Monadium decks, a lot of combo decks that would make these cards are hit. Snake Eye's actual inboard does lose a significant amount of power.
Yeah.
Because Snake Eye, as powerful as it is and as consistent as it is, does not actually offer any like, huge negate boss sort of thing. There's like that one trap, the Diabell Star like Snake Eye trap that can negate something.
But that's really about it.
But generally the deck is just floaty. It's consistent and floaty.
The extra deck is what provides all the interaction and negates.
Yeah, so they're used to, things like IP into Apollosa or things like, Formula Synchron. Or first of all, like making Borreload Savage and Formula Synchron and then like Formula Synchron fusing or synchroning with like Borreload Savage after it negates something and then make a Barone which then negates something, So it gets a lot of its strength from the extra deck, and I think for a lot of people who are looking at this list and thinking like, "Wow, it didn't hit Snake Eye at all."
That's a pretty.
I think it actually was some pretty significant ceiling decreasing here.
Because the Snake Eye main deck probably doesn't have to change too much. In fact, I think people will still run Jet Synchron because it's still a good card.
Yeah, it can still be like a material for things.
And we might even find some synchro plays. I doubt it, but we might.
Yeah.
What's interesting is Snake Eye combos, though, those change.
Yeah, I think
those
a lot
change
of Snake Eye combos definitely change. And also losing Link Karibo, while it's a pain for it to go, I think is actually not so. Like, Link Karibo's a Link 1 monster, but at least it doesn't belong to any particular archetype or something.
Right.
Like, my least favorite thing is seeing
an
tier 7 archetype loses its good card. Like Speedroids lose their Terratop.
Barone, Fleur lost their boss monster.
That's true.
Who they never had a claim to in the first place.
Yeah, they never. I don't even think that anyone saw it as a floor card. They saw Barone. But Link Karibo going, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's nothing. That's not a hit at all. But it's actually a pretty big deal as well.
It's huge in the long term for their game.
Yeah.
Link, because I haven't played too much with the deck myself, but I watched a lot of games. Link Karibo pops up and down on that field all game long.
Yeah, it's turn 1, and then it's like every turn after that, they're now able to dodge Imperms, Chalice, Valor, anything that targets.
The Snake Eye graveyard is so crazy. You have Poplars going off. You have the Promethean Princess going off. You have Link Karibo going off. Flamberg
Link Karibo can also make space for different cards whenever you need summon back Princess, the Promethean Princess, stuff like that. There are so many just little plays that Link Karibo, extra layers that it adds to that deck, that with it being gone and having to just be replaced by a relinquished anima, that's not nearly as or even like Salamander and Almirage, it's not nearly as big of a deal.
I think
they're not nearly as strong as Linkuriboh was for the deck.
And it doesn't. Oh, well, they don't have to change their main deck so much, but you won't have to work so hard to like stop them as much either.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where I'm interested in seeing, because I mean I think the main decks will actually have to make some changes to account for the weaker extra deck. So what exactly those changes are? I
mean, I still think that they can get away with just a retooling of the extra deck. I don't. The only thing we might see more of in the main deck, in my opinion, and it's very uneducated and not even out of experience, but during the what was it called? The Ultimate, during the
UDS.
The UDS event.
Yeah.
We saw a player running Parallel Exceed. I forgot the player's name. He was running Parallel Exceed into the Banshee Xyz monster. Mm-hmm. And I think we might see people trying that play again because it's another way to try and play around like imperms and stuff.
Yeah, something that's worth noting about Snake Eye and really many archetypes these days is that, they don't have any like lock-ins. They're not like locked into fire.
I don't know if there's a single lock-in deck.
I mean, Promethean Princess, while she's out,
only when she's out.
Fire.
Yeah.
But like other than that, there aren't really any like, summoning type lock-ins. So they can make Xyz variants, they can make Synchro variants, they can make links when they need to, they can fuse. They can do like a lot of stuff. So I don't doubt that Snake Eye will still be like kind of the top contender and that it will be able to adapt and like make the most of what's left. But I do think that this is a more significant hit than it's being reported as, I think, by many players.
I think the number one thing is Nibiru's probably going to land on a lot more Snake Eye heads.
Yeah, Nibiru actually matters again. And it's not to say that Snake Eye can't, also deal with that. They've still got Divine Temple helps a lot with
Temple into Oak and that sort of
they've still got stuff to like deal with Nibiru, but I think that like Nibiru in general gets a little bit stronger against many decks that now just can't make Burn to Floor. This last Forbidden card too, Summon Limit, was another really important hit. So on the surface, it's just another Floodgate getting hit, which there's, spoiler, there's also Anti-Spell Frigates got limited here. But the difference actually with Summon Limit is that Summon Limit was being played in Snake Eyes.
In the main deck?
Yeah, in the main deck.
Ooh, they sick.
The reason why they play it is because they can get rid of it whenever they want to, just using Ash. Because Ash has Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eye Oak just send like themselves in a face-up card. So you can like lock your opponent out with Summon Limit and then just on your next turn, get rid of it to summon a Flamberg or whatever from your deck. And so, like, the Snake Eye deck was actually making big use of it. So all four of these banned cards are four very powerful cards that Snake Eye players were playing.
I remember seeing a Summon Limit in a lot of side decks. I did not know that Snake Eyes were just main decking it to have their own on-demand. What was that card called? The Trap that cut off special summons.
Yeah, it's like kind of a Vanity's Emptiness.
Yeah, like an on-demand emptiness.
That sort of card. Yeah, so certainly like worth thinking more about than just like, oh, they didn't hit Snake Eye at all. I mean, I think that Snake Eye takes some significant damage. Not enough to knock it off of like probably still being the best deck, but I think a much more manageable deck. So.
I mean, now if you want to say like Snake Eye Fire King got off scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, by and large, that's true.
That deck I think probably did get off a little scot-free.
Yeah.
But hey, Fire Kings though.
Yeah, so there's a little bit more depth I think to each of these hits than meets the eye. One other thing about Linkuriboh that I forgot to mention too is that it does kind of cut off a route to Decode Talker Heat Soul because it's like the Cyberse monster that you might use.
Oh no!
Yeah, so if like that's another thing. Now there's still Salamander and Almirage, which is like it can fill that role, but again, it's not as good as Linkuriboh.
Nobody ever wants to commit their normal summon because every time because that was the first thing I thought was Almirage, but it seems that nobody wants to rely on Almirage.
Yeah, I mean there are certainly alternative options, Almirage and Anima, but they just are not as ideal as what Linkuriboh offers.
That is true. I hadn't thought about that because I have Heat Soul in my extra deck. I don't know how I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, so it's just there's a lot more to meets the eye. The last thing I'll say, too, about the Barone and Borreload Savage hits is that because they're Omni-Negates, there are still plenty of like monsters left in Yu-Gi-Oh! That negate cards.
Yep, plenty.
But it seems like Konami's kind of clearing the way, in my opinion, for Spell and Traps to finally be like playable again. And by Spell and Traps, I'm more specifically referring to like Evenly Matched and Lightning Storm, which are meant to sort of be these board breaker.
Because they're so healthy.
Yeah, well, these going second board breaker cards we're typically not even getting to resolve. Like Barone would
you would use them
evenly.
as bait.
Yeah, you just like kind of bait Barone with it or Savage with it. But now that those cards are gone, we might actually see like a resurgence of those sorts of cards to nuke boards, and that's what they're intended to do. So that could be good. I mean, it's not like there aren't Omni Negates left in the game, like Therian King Regulus for some decks, or Herald of Ultimateness for some decks and stuff like that. But I think that the pure Omni Negate is a little bit more niche and deck specific, whereas most other like big negating things will be like Apollosa, but that's only monsters. So
I can certainly see Evenly Match making a splash. I'm a little mixed on Lightning Storm only because Fire Kings.
Yeah, like it's still a card that's not as effective, I feel, and like a lot of stuff floats, Flamberg floats, and that sort of thing. But still, at least those cards in a general sense, like against a combo build-a-board deck, will be a little bit stronger. So,
like I definitely think we're gonna get a bit more diversity in this new format that we're in. And then I'm wrong, and it's like it's just Snake Eye Fire King.
It might be the same thing. I don't know. I'm trying to look at it from the most like optimistic point of view that I can.
I want to believe. Well, we haven't finished talking about the ban list, but I'll say that part later.
Okay. Well, let's get into the limited cards. So from here on out, it's actually pretty much just stuff coming back for the most part.
All right, that's my
favorite
favorite
part. There's
part.
one more card that got limited, which was Anti-Spell Fragrance.
Good.
So that was at 3. I'm surprised that this missed the boat on the December list, because the December list went pretty hard on the floodgates. So I guess they were just
Maybe they actually just missed it. Oh, we forgot to write it in.
Yeah, they're just kind of catching up here. I think good. I don't really care too much for Anti-Spell Fragrance as a card.
I hate Anti-Spell Fragrance. Mm-hmm. I hate it. Look at me.
Yeah, I mean, why?
You played it against me.
Yeah, I've used it for sure. I mean, you played like Pendulum decks. So.
I know.
Yeah, I don't really care for like cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance. My thoughts on Floodgates in general fall somewhere more in the middle. Like, I don't hate Floodgates too much, but specifically Anti-Spell Fragrance actually does not allow the Pendulum mechanic to.
I hate them when they're used against me.
So, yeah, Konami's been kind of doing attack on Floodgates here, and I think it's all right. I think like players don't like these Floodgates very much. You hear a lot of complaints about like, just ban them all. They're unfun. They're uninteractive.
I wouldn't mind Floodgates if there was a true penalty to use them outside of, a little bit of lost card advantage.
Barely that.
Because I mean, you lose. It's a card that kind of does nothing. It just says your opponent can't do something. But I would like Floodgates a lot more, that if your opponent outed them, it really hurt you.
Yeah, for a long time, I'd said that cards like Mystic Mine would have been more tolerable if they just had life point costs. Because Mystic Mine like caused deck outs. If you didn't have answers to Mystic Mine, the game would sometimes just go until
I've been decked out by it.
But I think that if you just throw in like a 500 life points cost, hell 800, something like that per turn, then suddenly it will stall the game for a couple of turns, but you still have to like do something.
And I say it has to be a mandatory thing, not like those DDs optional. Where you can choose not to and destroy it. No, I want to sap that 500.
Yeah, it should burn like players out. I think that would have been good for Mystic Mine. I think that if other Floodgates could have similar things, they'd probably be a little more balanced. But I think that even still, though, it's tricky with some of these Floodgates like Summon Limit and Anti-Spell Fragrance, because a lot of them only need to last one turn.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way the game is right now.
And like that one turn is everything, so... Anti-Spell Fragrance and Summon Limit both join the kind of Floodgates that are on parole, I guess we'll say. Well, Summon Limit's in jail.
Yeah,
but,
goodbye.
Yeah, Anti-Spell Fragrance is on parole. I don't mind that too much. All right, now the rest of this stuff is like cards that came back. So there's Arch Nemesis Protoss. Let's talk about him.
I don't know if there's much to really say about Protoss itself. I don't think anyone's happy Protoss is back, right?
I think a lot of people are eyeing this one with suspicion.
Because
it's like you get rid of Barone and like Warlord Savage, which has generally been praised.
Two like good things to go, but it's like
Protoss is one of those like walking floodgates everybody kind of doesn't like.
Like Protoss is fine as long as no one can use it well.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean there are decks that can search it. I mean, Sword Soul can search it.
It's a worm. It has an archetype.
But like it's also people don't like the walking floodgates, like the monster floodgates with legs, where it kind of reminds you of what is the card? VFD, the True King of All Calamities. Like kind of these monsters that just sort of like say, yeah, you can't like summon this thing. One line of thought that I heard around Arch Nemesis Protoss was that, well, it can call fire, and if you call fire, then you'll destroy like a Snake Eye field, and then because they can't summon fire until the end of the next turn, even Flamberg won't.
They'll just lose at that point.
Like Fire Kings won't be able to summon stuff. So it could sort of be seen as like a potential counterplay they want decks to use.
You can call it like anti-meta. It's still a fairly toxic card. I hate that's what it takes.
I'm terrified of the thought that Snake Eyes will just use the damn thing. Or like, that
the Snake Eye player goes first in the mirror match, causes... Wait, does Protoss hit your board too?
It hits your board, yeah. So they can't like call... Yeah, they have to call... It would be good against like another attribute that they're facing. Like, I'm facing a Marincess deck, and I just call water and like lock them out or something. So... I
still don't care for it, personally.
Yeah, this one, it gives me pause. But Tidal Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls.
And so that's the last one, right?
I think Redox is still banned.
Redox still... Okay, never mind. We still have more to go.
Right? I lose track, and here's why. These Dragon Rollers just don't matter anymore.
And they come off the list slowly.
They've been kind of slowly bringing these Dragon Rollers off the list, and I just don't think that they're...
Like, Konami treats this kind of like you're entering the pool for the first time. You got to, like, touch the water. It's a little cold.
You can tell that they're apprehensive because, like, Dragon Rollers have this sort of legacy, but it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. This game is
I don't know what we're afraid of.
There's just nothing to be scared of. I mean, we've seen them all in Master Duel, and people don't play them. Like, people do not play these cards.
It's bricky.
They're slow. They're bricky. They're awkward. They can only use like one of their effects in a turn, which like by the modern day standard, all three effects are usable in every monster.
These are
now.
basically unacceptable in a modern combo deck, but they don't have a real like modern play style. I don't know what you do with them.
Yeah, I mean, like in theory, you could maybe run a pure little deck of all, like once they're all off the list, you could try. I still don't think that would be.
Are the babies off? The babies are off.
Yeah, the babies are off.
I mean, maybe there's something. I don't know.
It is. I just don't think there's anything to see here. Have you heard of like the 3 effect rule? It's like the new kind of thing in Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, how could I not? When every new interesting card has 3
every
effects.
Monster's got 3 effects, and here's how they go.
In the hand,
the thing that summons them from the hand, the annoying thing that they do on the field, and then the recuperating thing when they die or kind of float or whatever. Every monster, like so many monsters have it. Lady Labyrinth summons from your hand easily. It's a quick effect. On the field, she gets new traps and she's unaffected by stuff. So it's like 3 different effects, all beneficial. 1 recoups, 1 protects, 1 summons, and like you can look at so many archetypes. Diabellstar's got it. Rescue Ace Turbulence or Preventer, they've got it. Kashtira Fenrir summons itself, searches itself, banishes cards. Like the Dragon Rulers are that, but they only get 1 of their effects per turn. They're like locked to one effect.
That's how it used to be, man.
And it's very slow, and I just think that alone puts them too far behind and keeping pace with
that's just not how we play Yu-Gi-Oh now. And I mean, Konami, come on, bring them all up to 3.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Surprisingly, I would not care. I still don't think that would mean a lot. I really don't.
If that makes them make a splash, I promise you, it won't be that big of a splash.
It won't be a huge splash, and then you can put them back to 1 or something. I don't care. But okay, next is Thunder Dragon Colossus.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is a big one.
That's my boy.
You can talk about this. I know you're a Thunder Dragon.
Oh yeah, so Thunder Dragon Colossus to 1. I'll talk about it from the Thunder Dragon perspective. This is huge for them. This is not just a matter of they got their boss monster back. Now the deck is playable. No, y'all don't understand. Now the deck is playable. Like Colossus was not the biggest monster in Thunder Dragons by attack, but it was the biggest monster. It's a walking floodgate. I know we hate that, but it's also the bridge that Thunder Dragons needed just to play a proper game.
Functioning. It was the easy fusion to summon, and also like its protection effect actually triggered other like Thunder Dragon effects.
Mm-hmm. The loss of Colossus meant like Konami tried to give us new cards to make it all worth it. It did nothing.
Yeah, none of the new cards.
Titan was too hard to summon, and honestly, too awkward to try and force yourself to summon it.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to summon. Its effect is a little clunky. I mean, and then things like Thunder Dragon Mech and all those like new ones.
Mech and Lord just didn't cut
it.
They didn't help.
So there is some concern around Thunder Dragon Colossus. I'd like to hear how people sort of feel about this one as well. It's similar to Protoss in that it is a walking floodgate.
And we do hate those.
One that many decks can access thanks to like Nemesis corridor, right? And
yeah.
Flag and stuff. All those.
So the Nemesis monsters, I remember when they came out, we started slapping them into Thunder Dragon decks, but Colossus was not long for the world at that point. And you know how Colossus works. He can be summoned by sending a Thunder monster from your side of the field to the grave after you've activated a Thunder monster's effect in hand that turn. Yeah. So the Nemesis engine is really annoying because you can activate Corridor's effect in hand to grab one of your banished monsters back, and then it special summons itself, so now you have a Thunder monster on field.
You can take tribute.
And it's fairly easy to splash into different strategies. I mean, you can essentially have a Colossus in any combo deck that you want.
Yeah.
Which isn't great, so and that's what got it banned in the first place.
Yeah, that's a little terrifying. I mean, it makes you kind of wonder what nasty pile deck is going to make use of this card. At least there's only one Colossus. Mm-hmm. I would be much more afraid if there were two. I remember playing in like Toss format where dealing with two Colossus was a real
wonderful thing,
a real menace, because it's like, you know, one imperm won't save you. You got to have like either two imperms or whatever. And this is kind of just before Dark Ruler No More really hit the scene. So,
there were some games I won purely because I summoned two Colossus.
Yeah, nothing. Tough thing to out.
Two Colossus, one Solemn.
Yeah, so there's a lot of apprehension, I think, with this and Protoss. So
on the bright side, I mean, I think if you snipe Corridor, that will hamper its ability to be run in modern decks. I don't know how badly people are like running to run the actual Thunder Dragon monsters in their decks.
Yeah,
Dark is still pretty good. You could do something. Dragon
engine,
that way.
I mean, there's a lot that can be done with like Bestial, Dinosaur comes to mind. So there's certainly like Thunder Dragon variants that will pop up. I don't know that like even the Thunder Dragon deck though will be like a super top contender, but who knows?
Thunder Dragons are a great engine even today. It's just they were designed a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a good reminder too, much like with the Dragon Rulers, of like how cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Age. Like this, you know, you give a few cards even just a couple years and suddenly they just feel a little slower and more antiquated. They don't quite do enough, and maybe they're a little too clunky. Like, because even the Thunder Dragon cards, I think they can, like Thunder Dragon Dark and Hawkeye, they can only get like one of their effects per turn, not both.
You can only get one of their effects per turn.
Either the discard one or the like kind of banish or grave one.
And they kind of, they play a very mid-range game, and they don't play it well in the modern sense. When most mid-range decks, they're also searching like traps to back themselves up with. They have a stronger offensive game too. Thunder Dragon Pure plays it middle of the road. Yeah. It's Colossus is kind of everything.
Yeah. So, okay, next card's Majesty Spectre Unicorn Kieran. This is one that I've said for a good bit now could like come back. You know, it's a pendulum monster.
Gives you a bounce.
It gives you a bounce. I suppose this is meant to kind of help promote the new Majesty Spectre stuff that came in Phantom Nightmare.
They do desperately need it. I don't know if that's enough.
Don't think it's going to really like make him a super duper top tier contender either. However, this card has been banned for so long. I just think it's nice to see it back.
Though I do worry a bit with it being slid into the generic pendulum deck.
The pendulum soup, yeah.
Just because you know, that it's not a bad card. It's just its archetype is too slow. Put it in a generic pendulum deck and those decks are extremely consistent. You know, there might be something there.
Yeah. So next we get Chicken Game.
Let's go.
So it got banned in like 2016. This is an old one.
This is the 2016, Paul. Oh man.
Yeah, it was a huge like consistency booster card back in the day. You know, running like triple Chicken Game, like what's that card? Pseudo Space to get draws and stuff like that.
It was a good time, yeah. Y'all don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, so it's back. It's at 1. I don't think this is a huge deal.
Yes, it is.
To explain.
Because now we can go back to having nonsense, like full-on Chicken Game duels.
I don't even think we'll see that. I mean, it's at 1.
But if both you and your opponent play Chicken Game, and then you don't let it leave the field.
Yeah. I mean, they can always just get it off the field, and then it's just gone.
They don't either.
Okay. Well, while you're fantasizing about that, I don't think Chicken Game's a huge deal. It's been in Master Duel for like since it came out, and it just didn't.
That's because y'all don't like to have fun.
Well, people play it sometimes, but it's just not didn't really make much impact there.
I use it as a draw engine too back then.
So I don't see it being anything too big here either. I'd like to be proven wrong, of course. Maybe someone will figure something out.
Do you get the feeling that field spells are going to be a large part of the game going forward, but like in a bit of a different way than they have been in the last like 5 years?
What do you mean?
So with some of the reveals we've got in the OCG, and then some of with the cards we're getting now, like Obsidian and even the Snake Eye field spell, it feels like Konami wants us playing field spells a lot, and they do have very beneficial effects for the strategies they're printed for, but they don't work how the field spells of Eld were working. They're not always just searching a card on activation. Now they have these extremely supplementary effects that help boost a deck over the edge a little bit, kind of like how the Snake Eye field spell gives them a little bit more juice.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like based on some of the new reveals we've seen, which I guess we'll talk about them here in a bit, the stuff from like Infinite Forbidden, it seems like there's kind of more like anti-field spell play, like a lot of cards that kind of want a field spell to be on the field, and then they'll like pop it as they resolve and summon themselves, or kind of.
And like we're playing them to our opponent's field a lot more now, it seems.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, if field spells make more of a splash, I don't mind that. I think it's kind of cool.
I keep reading the phrase field spell on cards now.
Yeah, and it's something to keep your eye on.
What's going on here?
Like maybe that's a new design philosophy. I mean, I think as long as we can get away though from the field spells that are just purely like activate and get a search like on activate. You know, all of the Visas field spells were pretty. You know, they were harsh. Like those were
get a thing,
get a thing, and then get a really nice passive. And it was sometimes those felt a little like overtuned. A lot of them have had to get limited and stuff in like Master Duel, or in some cases like the TCG. So
it's okay. You just hit a Rise Heart instead.
Yeah. So Chicken Game for now though, I don't have too many concerns about. And they semi-limited Armageddon Knight, a card that
this has been at 1 for so.
It's been at 1 for ages. It's now at 2. I think that surprisingly enough, it has also been power crept a little bit. It will never, I think, be like a bad card. Armageddon Knight.
I mean, like, sending darks to grave.
Summon send to dark. That's a big deal. Particularly one certain dark monster that went to 3. But it seems like archetypes are doing a lot of or have become pretty self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. Like if you're playing Unchained does its thing. If you're playing, like all of these decks kind of, they send the cards themselves with their own in-archetype things. So like playing an Armageddon Knight that's not actually searchable itself, outside of like the single Rhoda, well maybe that's not really, maybe it's like fine that it's a 2. Like I think like, Master Duel put it to 2 or 3 honestly, or something. No one plays that.
For the most part, I think Armageddon Knight can go to 3 and it shouldn't be a problem. It's a normal summon. It's an ashable normal summon. It can be veiled.
Yeah, there's a lot to kind of keep it in check.
I think it's fine.
And interestingly enough, unlike most archetype cards, once it gets hit by that Veiler or that Ash, there's little else you can do with it alone, because like it doesn't have less than 1,000 attack, so you can't like make an Almirage. You can't, you know, it doesn't have like an archetype name to it, so it's not like, oh, okay, great, you Veilered that, now I'm just gonna pop it with my Unchained thing in the hand and trigger a bunch of other stuff.
You know, Isolde is gone too, so you can't just like Warrior Extender into Isolde. That's done.
Yeah, those sorts of things are,
So I mean, I think it could go to 3, and we probably wouldn't even feel it.
Pearly Delicious Memories at 2. This is at 1. This is just a little bit of a consistency boost for them that I don't know if they needed it or not.
I don't know if Konami wanted them out of the metagame that fast.
Yeah, I don't mind this. I think it's all right. I hope to maybe see. This does remind me. I hope to maybe see the Unchained Sharvara card that went to 1 like some formats back, like back in December, I think. I think that could probably go to 2 as well, and like Rescue Ace Airlifter, because these are all 3 of those decks got hit like around the same time, and it didn't seem like it was a bit preemptive.
I think Airlifter could come back. I am a little skeptical about the Unchained card. I don't remember its effect perfectly, but I know Yubel is on the horizon, and it has an Unchained package. I've even seen Unchained Yubel hybrid decks.
So maybe that.
Maybe we see how that looks first.
Maybe not. That's true. I mean, so Delicious Memory. I don't play the Pearly deck much. I've faced it obviously a lot on Master Duel, but that's kind of 2 different places. So, and then some unlimited cards. So we get Destiny Hero Malicious at 3.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Well, I've seen the day. And
again. Never thought I'd see the day again.
The way that it always works with this card is 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. It goes to 3, gets abused, goes back to 2. Goes to 3, gets abused, go back to 2. Like it's
strange because it feels like, at least it always felt like 2 was the perfect number for Malicious. At 2, hero decks would use it, and then no one else would. At 3, now everyone's using it.
Now everyone's using it, and now you got like Armageddon Knight at 2 now, so like maybe there's something with that. I know a lot of hero players are rejoicing about this, but the truth is I would not be surprised to see this card get abused more heavily in something else that's not heroes and then find itself back at 2 in a couple of formats.
I do think Malicious is going to end up being a hit again. It's kind of too good.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that has not aged badly. It's always going to be, and if anything, it's actually aged, like, thanks to like Destiny Hero Denier, you can like get an extra use out of Malicious if you're
having 3 copies thing. And if you're able to move it back into your graveyard, oh my gosh.
And then we get like Speedroid Terratop, Sky Striker, Mobilize Engage, and Orcust Harp Horror all to 3. I kind of clump these together mostly because Harp Horror and Engage are like other toss format.
I was about to say Orcust, Sky Striker, Thunder. We're back in toss.
Orcust, Thunder Dragon, and like obviously Salamangrate's been back for a little bit longer, so
all that format beat the mess out of me.
Yeah, all of the 2019 sort of companions are back in the game, and I had to
take a break after that format.
Yeah, I don't really know if it's that like any of these hits are going to be huge. Like I don't know that Sky Striker, again, I think it's crept a bit. Like Engage at 3 is certainly strong and it can be like sacky and stuff, but Modern Yu-Gi-Oh is a mean and like different game.
Full power Sky Striker does not do enough in this metagame to consistently like win events. It can top.
Yeah, you think some might top?
I think Sky Strikers will steal a few tops at a few regionals, and it can even get up there in a YCS. It will not be like a tier 1 deck.
Right.
It just doesn't do that much.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm very curious. I think players will play this for the nostalgia at first, and then probably realize that some of these decks don't really stack up to.
Though I do think Orcust has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, I could see Orcust maybe managing some
weird combo thing.
And Speedroid Terratop has been. It went to 2 pretty recently, so now it's just at 3. It didn't make any impact at 2, so.
Speedroids are happy. As someone who's played Speedroids.
If you're a Speedroid player, should be very pleased with this.
It's a really good thing, and actually, I got to look into that now. Maybe we can reduce. So, for a little context, guys, so I did play Speedroids Pure for a little while. It burned me out because too many of the combos were kind of RNG and based on dice rolls, and my brain could not handle mapping combos around different combinations of dice rolls. That was too much work for me. Maybe with Terratop at 3, we can get some streamlined combos where I don't have to like have a different route if I roll a 3 and not a 6.
Yeah. I mean, I think that most of those combos kind of converge at the same point, though. Like was what I don't know.
They converge, but when you're playing around hand traps, it's hell. Well,
yeah. So that's all back.
Hell ball.
Those cards are all at 3, and that's the list. So overall, it's certainly. I mean, it's gotten some buzz. I've heard a mix of opinions about this list.
I mean, for some people, this list is horrible. I mean, for a lot of those people who played lower tier decks, lower tier like combo decks that could go into their Barons and their Savages.
Yeah, that feels like it's
like a death blow for them.
It's a death blow if you got these cards recently. You were waiting to get them.
Oh, that's a gut punch.
That really feels like a gut punch. However, and then there's also like you wanted Snake Eye to get hit, and it didn't get hit.
Slap in the face.
Kind of feels a little rude.
This is a violent list.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the list other than it seems like a list I didn't expect to see. I just didn't expect to see those 2 synchros get hit. I did not expect to see like Konami take a real hard stance on Floodgates like they have these last 2 lists together.
I mean, I think
probably for the best. Like probably.
I think as we move towards Nats and stuff, and national season, this list will tell us if it's a good list or not. The results will tell us.
Yeah. What a safe diplomatic answer.
I mean,
we'll see.
Cool, because we don't know yet. Right now we're just knee jerking.
That's actually the important thing to keep in mind here. Is like, it's easy to look at these lists and be like, nothing's changed, or this was pointless, or they ruined this, or whatever. Snake Eyes is still busted in Tier 0, or blah blah blah. Or now we're gonna do this broken Colossus. But there's really no telling like how much any of these cards will affect things. Nice. Like, they might, Protoss and Colossus might become new like monsters that you just don't want to deal with. But also they might not. They might just be inconsistent, and they might be. So much comes down to the events.
It's really, it's funny. The best players of this game, they're the ones that dictate whether or not a list is good or not. It's the best the best deck builders and the best competitive players. They're the ones who decide whether or not a list is good or not, whether or not they can make use of the cards that came off the ban list, and whether they decide to use different strategies that got hit by the ban list. I mean,
yeah, like it's so easy to, I guess, like hop on Twitter and Reddit and have these kind of reactionary takes on these lists where it's like, Konami's, they're ruining this, they killed this, or this list was a personal attack on me. But truthfully, it just comes down to what the players do and like how the results shake out.
The rest of us, we're just gonna follow behind and build decks behind what they played with. And
this is something I can say as like, I guess, a long veteran of Yu-Gi-Oh.
He got his medals, yo.
These lists they're ban lists. Like, I think the longer you play Yu-Gi-Oh, the more you're able to, I don't know. I mean, just if you really like Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll play regardless. You know what I mean?
Like, how many years have you been playing Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, for like me, like, I mean, competitively speaking, like since like 2008, 8, 9, like it's just.
Ooh.
I'm at like a 15-year mark here where I think there's not much use in being like extremely angry at ban lists because listen,
you've done like 4 tours in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like, I mean, these ban lists, I don't know. I always hate when I say this because I think that like people get the wrong idea about what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. I think like if you like Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll adjust your deck and you'll figure it out and like find new things. And also, like, I mean, there's no really like going backwards. Like, you can sort of be unhappy with a change on the list, and maybe it can even make you quit. Mm-hmm. And like, if that's the case, then maybe you needed to leave. Like, maybe you needed. No. I don't mean like you need to leave and like go away. I'm saying you needed to leave and that like, this is the last straw for me. I'm quitting. Then you probably deserve the break. Like, maybe Yu-Gi-Oh, because like these are kind of unban list related. We see so many YouTube comments now and like social media and stuff, and there are a lot of people who feel very disenfranchised with this game.
Oh yeah,
it's not the game they know and love. Their favorite deck got hit. They took collateral damage on some ban list a few years ago. They finally got a Barone, and now it's banned. Like, all these things, and for a lot of people, I sometimes get the impression that some people are like, holding on by a thread in terms of like how much they even really are enjoying Yu-Gi-Oh.
This podcast is my thread.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it feels like YouTube is my thread. Like, I'm like, if I wasn't YouTubing, I don't know if I'd even be playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, there's some really annoying stuff Konami does, and like kind of modern game design, and all these things. And so to those people, I sometimes think like it's okay to like take a break or like quit. Like, I'm not about to sit here and be like, Yu-Gi-Oh's like fun, sunshine and rainbows and like dueling, happy. Like, it's because it's not. Like, this game can be frustrating as hell to play. There's broken cards. There's stuff that locks you out. Turns can take forever. Cards can be expensive. Like, if you aren't finding that you're getting a lot of joy out of Yu-Gi-Oh, take a break or, like, quit.
Or you power up a Dark Duel Stories emulator.
Yeah, or, like, find something different. Like, play some retro games. Do, like, a domain format or a cube. Or, like, you have to find something different because if you just look to...
The advanced format
and Konami and kind of just being at the whim of Konami products and ban lists, like, there's no guarantee of happiness there.
We can't promise you'll ever be satisfied. And one of the main issues I find with Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's a thing about Yu-Gi-Oh not being able to rectify what it was versus where it is today. a lot of players have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh long enough where they still prescribe to the old Yu-Gi-Oh way. You have your deck. You know, you identify with the boss monster. Like, this is your favorite deck, and you want to play it. You want to play it forever and as much as you can.
Ad infinitum.
So, you know, so Konami came out with these generic boss monsters, and if your favorite deck could route into them, it would let your deck compete, quote unquote, like further and longer than it ever had any right to in the first place. So, really, what Konami has done is regulate a lot of decks right to where they were supposed to be in the first place.
That's a harsh, but like in my opinion, truthful stance on it.
It is a little harsh, but hear me out, guys. I play Amazonas, who can't go into those monsters. That deck is awful, and after this ban list, it is still awful. I mean,
it just ended with no. I get what you're saying. Like, someone's gonna take me out of context, and so basically you're just saying that. No, but like, I'm serious. If you're not getting like some joy out of Yu-Gi-Oh, you got to find it. Like, don't look to Konami for your joy in this game. The ban list, a really close friend of mine, Yu-Gi-Oh friend of mine, told me like the ban list isn't, the magic medicine that's going to bring your favorite game back or like rekindle your love for this. Like, the ban list isn't going to do it. If you were like losing at locals every week, the ban list isn't going to make you suddenly win, and you shouldn't expect it to. And if you we're angry about card prices or like the reprint structure, this isn't like we're here.
The
you know what I mean?
Is
like,
not your savior.
Yeah, like we are here. There's no salvation to be found. I mean, like
absolutely
not. Like, okay, I'm getting a little too nihilistic. I don't know, but that's the ban list. Overall, I think it's fine. It's more surprising. Like, there's not even anything on this list that I think is like amazing or fun or like gets me excited. It's just more like I'm surprised
because you didn't play Thunder Dragons.
Yeah,
you want to borrow a core?
I'll be fine. I mean, I'll be okay. Yeah. So, still, of course, I would love to hear what others have to say. Yeah, I'd love to hear what others have to say about this ban list. I'm sure that we'll be hearing plenty of it in the comments and the chat. So,
and for you guys arguing in chat right now, stop it.
Yeah, like that's another thing too. Like, I mean, I guess it's fun to like argue ban lists, but it ain't going back. What's
done is done.
Listen, Alec, we're stuck with this one for a few more months.
That's right.
So that's what Konami
Who's to
says
say when the months end up? We don't know.
We're stuck with it for a few more months. Okay. There's a bunch more Yu-Gi-Oh news, and so we got to kind of run through it so we don't talk about Yu-Gi-Oh for 5 years on this podcast.
Yeah, it's just been a good Yu-Gi-Oh week, man.
Okay, so Legacy of Destruction releases next weekend, but this weekend is the sneak peeks.
I can't wait.
We've gotten a lot of reveals of rarities, content creator reveals, Konami's video, and also like just it's happening, right?
Yeah.
This is an event basically that's going to be happening. You're going to a sneak peek. That'll be cool. I don't even know if we're having a sneak peek locally here.
I don't think so. I'm gonna double check.
I haven't heard.
Now. I don't think we are, but you never know.
Either. If we are, I will go, or I will try to go.
Because we did have one last set, so
yeah. What is the playmat for this one?
I haven't even
Sarcophagus
seen
of Light, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's a Sarcophagus of Light.
I want it. Oh,
I would
man.
like that.
Somebody's about to make some money off me.
Yeah, so
because I know I'm not going to win it. So
well, speaking of Sarcophagus of Light, actually, we have gotten rarity reveals, and I'm not going to go into like a bunch of detail on every single rarity in this. People can look up a chart. I'll probably put one up on screen or something. Because someone like Duel Daddy will have it,
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Shout out to Duel Daddy.
Best infographics on Twitter.
Yeah. Him and like Yu-Gi-Oh! News TCG and like Ready for Duel, they carry this community.
They keep us informed.
Yeah, they keep us informed. You have good visuals. Your parent company won't give them to you all the time, but you can make sure that you follow these pages and you'll get more. So, anywho, sorry about that. Yeah, Legacy Destruction, the Yugi's like Sarcophagus of Light stuff got a lot of secret rare slots. The Sarcophagus of Light itself,
I was so upset about that.
Yeah, it's a secret, and a lot of the cards
are
like
no
secrets.
Sneak peek.
Oh, we don't have a sneak peek locally? Aw, sad face. Yeah, a lot of those cards are secrets and ultras. So you want to build that deck.
It's a disappointing part for me because, I mean, the deck's not going to be good, Konami. You didn't have to do me like that.
So there's a mix of opinions I've heard about that. Remind me to say it again after I'm done with this next point, which is that the Tenpei cards are actually low rarity. Tenpei or Tenpai?
I think Tenpai.
Tenpei or Tenpai. So I'm gonna say Tenpei for now. I'm gonna say Tenpai for now. It seems more likely it's Tenpai, right?
I mean, I just looked at the romanization of the Japanese on like Wikipedia, and they call it like Tenpai-ryu.
Okay, Tenpai.
Tenpai.
So
sounds
they're like
good.
low rarity cards. They're like commons and supers. I think I heard they had like one ultra or something, maybe. But it's a really cheap deck. It's also supposed to be the next like kind of big thing.
That makes a lot of sense.
And
right?
so people are pretty happy because it's like, wow, I can finally like play what might be like a powerful like tier 1 deck cheaply.
Just out the box.
Yeah, out the box, cheap. With I guess the catch of Trident Dragion being, I mean, it hasn't been reprinted in 10 years, and so you got to get that.
Yeah, but
that's probably going to be
some old card, right? Like if I look it up,
it's $100+.
Nah,
it's $100+.
Nah.
Now here's the thing. I
see one for $84.99.
Condition.
Oh, it's damaged.
Well, no, but I think that's going to be an OTS pack or something. They'll put it in an OTS pack. They'll put it in Rarity Collection.
Then why didn't they say it?
Well, listen, Jerome told you how you're supposed to get your copy. I saw in that Konami video, Jerome said something along the lines of like, yeah, you want to get like, Trident Dragon, so look through your collection, try to dig one up.
Why didn't they just say we're reprinting it soon? So that people wouldn't go and try to buy $100 copies of this card online.
Okay, so I have a tinfoil hat theory about that, actually.
Here you go.
Here's what it actually is. Konami's doing people a solid. You know why? Because it's probably going to be in the next OTS pack. And what Jerome's really saying in that video is, listen, hint, hint, wink, wink, it'll probably get reprinted soon. But before we announce it, go and look through your collection and find them so you can sell them. And then we'll reprint it. That's my tinfoil hat theory. Don't say Konami never did anything good for you guys. No, I don't know if that's actually true. But I mean, it kind of feels a little suspicious. Like Konami's rarely ever like kind of said like, oh, dig out this old card from your collection.
That is true.
So I think that they're gonna put it in some like Battles of Legend. It'll be in something.
I'm checking prices on this Trident Dragion. On the bright side, not many people have at least bought the the ultra rare copy. Not many people have bought it for the extremely overblown price, but there have been sales in. Never mind.
I mean, I'm sure some people have been buying because I mean, like this is looking like it's the next like kind of tier 1 little OTK deck.
Yeah, they moved a couple of them like 90+ copies. Golly, y'all don't do that to yourselves. But then again, in the grand scheme of like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? There's how much on average does a meta deck cost, you think, right now in Yu-Gi-Oh?
I mean, like right now the top deck's like $1,000.
Yeah, but
roughly $1,000. On average, maybe like let's say $500.
So $500. Trident Dragion is what, a 2 of in a deck?
Like a 1 of.
Really, a 1 of?
Yeah.
So for a deck comprised of mostly low rarity cards, that's still not bad.
It's a net win. Like for a bunch of
It's not budget.
Yeah, I mean for a Tenpai core that's going to maybe cost you $50, and then like one Trident Dragion, it's for like a tier 1 contender deck. It could be a lot worse.
And we've seen worse.
So like we've seen plenty worse. So the point I wanted to get back to about like the Sarcophagus of Light cards being high rarity is that's actually something that a lot of people have kind of in the past said that Konami should do, is make the anime kind of cards be the secret rares and make the staples or the meta stuff kind of be like lower rarity. So like the players who are going to actually like trying to like play the stuff can get the things they need to play cheaply, and like for the collectors they can kind of have fun anime collector-y cards. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's like a yes?
As long as the prices don't get crazy.
Yeah, because like I don't know how much Sarcophagus of Light's going to be. It's not like a meta deck or anything.
Like it's like my belief is that it's going to be bad, so its price should be low. But
there's that like anime tax.
It worries me. Yeah, like anime taxing. It worries me. Like, because we just came out of what was the name of the last set? Phantom Nightmare, and the secrets in that set were not worth a lot when the set released.
Yeah.
If we had that situation this time, I'd be cool with it. But that just happened, and so I feel like the market will not allow the secrets in this box to be like low value.
Who's to say? I really don't know how many people are trying to build that Yugi deck. Like I want to assume
like
plenty.
Me and anyone else. I want to play mirror matches with it.
That sounds fun.
I want to play Sarcophagus of Light.
I want to do like theme duels. Yugi versus Joey.
Yugi versus Yugi.
Or Yugi versus Yugi. That should be pretty fun.
Yugi versus the Pharaoh could be interesting too. I don't know what deck you put the Pharaoh in. Maybe just give him a Dark Magician deck.
Some Egyptian god mess. That would suck.
Because I really like that deck. We're getting new support in Infinite Forbidden. I can't wait for those.
Continues. So
I'm excited.
I've seen the content creator reveals. Looks like Legacy Destruction's a pretty neat one. There's also what else is in there? There's like what's the Ragnarika?
I don't know why we added an extra like 2 syllables to that.
I couldn't tell you.
But yeah, it's Ragnarika. That's our Tri-Brigade for insects and plants.
Reptiles, plants.
Insects, plants, and reptiles.
I think there's one more, I think.
There's another?
I mean, it's not usually those 3. I don't know.
Google it.
Yeah, but that deck is supposed to kind of be, it's like worth keeping an eye out for. For me,
it didn't do much in the OCGs.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it's made much of an impact. But then maybe that changes with the Infinite Forbidden stuff. I have not read enough of the like Rika cards to really.
I feel like it can't be bad, but then again, Tri-Brigade fell off in the TCG.
But Tri-Brigade had a time in the spotlight, like as a top tier deck. I don't even know if Rika will get that much.
And Tri-Brigade had better archetypes to build off of.
Yes,
because Ogdoadic?
Ogdoadic's like kind of the best you get with reptiles.
But I guess plants have stuff. Aromas are getting new support. Or did they already get it? I lose track with those things.
I don't know. I don't play Aroma. So a deck that I'm looking forward to getting more stuff from here in this
plant,
set.
insect, and reptile.
Okay. I'm looking forward to getting more of the Voiceless Voice cards. I do have a Voiceless Voice deck built. And, as for... I don't know that I really like the deck. I've played it like one time, and I didn't. It's okay. It's just a protect the tower kind of thing. But
is Low the tower?
Yeah. Well, she keeps showing up over and over and over again. But it's the Guardian Skull Guardian, and he just sits there and he's big and he negates. And,
okay, I got you.
Yeah, she just keeps coming back. She's annoying.
What if I banish her face down?
There'll just be a second copy.
Dang it.
So, anywho, what else was I going to say? I think that's like all there is to say about Legacy Destruction. I mean, I guess it's a new set. I don't know how much it's supposed to shake up the meta outside of like the Tenpai deck.
I mean, Snake Eye get access to Snake Eye Diabell Star.
Yeah, and then there's also Diabell Zest is in this set too, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true. So she might get the new Illusion Monster.
There's something here.
I think they both will find a place in our metagame. I think Snake Eye Diabell Star is a solid one of in any Snake Eye deck. Maybe not in the Snake Eye Fire King deck, I'm not so sure about. But in the pure one, probably a solid one of Diabell Zest with her anti-spell like effect. There's somewhere that's going to come up, I'm sure.
Anywho, cool. Legacy Destruction. I'm not very excited about the set, I guess.
I am.
I was more excited about, I think, the last set, but maybe I just have some Voiceless Voice cards to pick up. It's going to probably be it for me. But you've got a whole deck, so yeah. Okay, a few other things.
If you want to split a case, Infinite
Forbidden. We've gotten a few more reveals from that.
I'm excited for that one too, yo.
I will not cover them all in detail, but there are 2 in particular that I think are worth a little talk.
Little talky talk. What we talking
about? So there's this new Max C sort of card that everyone's like comparing it to Max C. Let me make sure of what the name.
Oh, the water thing.
Yeah, it's the little water thing. What's it called?
No idea. I remember when I first saw it.
Weird name.
I immediately closed the page because I was like, looks like generic water support to me, and I wasn't interested. And then everyone was like,
Moltchummy Perulia.
Say it 3 times fast.
Moltchummy Perulia.
You didn't say it fast enough, but okay.
Okay. Well, listen. If you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card and apply these effects for the rest of the turn. Each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster or monsters from the hand, immediately draw 1 card. During the end phase, if you have more cards in your hand than the number of cards your opponent controls, plus 6, shuffle random cards from your hand to the deck equal to the difference. So, this is effectively a nerfed Max C.
Yeah, definitely.
And people already are sort of saying this is like going to be the card that allows the OCG to maybe finally ban Max C over there and just kind of replace it with this. And then this will just be our sort of Max C at home here in the TCG. It's cool. It's obviously, you have to control no cards. So that means it's only really useful for the player going second for the most part. And also, you only draw when your opponent summons from hand. It does have the benefit, though, of counting for both normal and special summons. So It can work pretty well against a deck like Fluanderies as well as any special summon spam. But you won't be getting benefits from them like summoning from Grave or from Extra Deck or from Deck. So, And also, during the end phase, there is a limit to how much you can really have benefited from these draws. So
I think that's copium.
You don't think it's really good or really bad, or how are you feeling?
I think the card is a nerfed Max C, and so it won't get played.
You think it won't get played? Okay.
At least I don't think it'll see any play in the OCG, because I don't know why they would ever play this over Max C.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know why they would want to ban Max C in the OCG, since it's a normal card there that is always around. I don't know if there's any need to ban Max C in the OCG. I think if you wanna inhale the cope smoke, then
please just talk normally.
No, I want to use the kids slang.
Okay.
But if you want to cope and believe that, well, they can ban Max C and then that'll help bring our formats closer together. As much as everyone playing the same format will make a lot of sense for this game, I just don't think Konami's doing that.
I don't know what I think about this card really yet. I guess the OCG will get to play with it and we'll get at least an indication of how popular it is over there. I suppose it suggests that they might be banning Max C soon. I don't know really anything about what OCG players think about Max C. What's the community?
It always sounds like we hate it more here than they do.
Yeah, I mean, people will have these things where it's I talked to someone in the OCG and they said they hate it too. But it's I never, who did you talk to? What does that really mean?
The OCG is a large...
Yeah, it's its own Yu-Gi-Oh scene, so I don't know how people feel about Max C there. If they were to ban Max C, let's say, in the OCG, and this is kind of supposed to be the nerfed replacement, and maybe they do the same for Master Duel as well, I'm going to say the boring answer. You know what I'm going to say. It doesn't really matter to me. I'll play.
Are you going to play it, though?
Will I play it?
Yeah. On first read, you have a chance to put this in your main deck in Master Duel. What you doing?
So I think that in Master Duel, I'm tempted to say no, I wouldn't. I think that in the TCG, there's the benefit of the side deck. So this will just be a thing that you side deck in and you side deck out depending on whether or not it's useful. I think in Master Duel's best of one format, don't think I like it too much.
It does feel like a hard side deck card. It's hard for me to imagine a situation where you want to main deck a card like this, and I don't know if that's the answer exactly. Maybe it is. Maybe that's good enough. Just having a card you can side when you're going second.
Yeah, speaking of going second, there's another card called Flash of the Evening Star. This is one of these World Legacy artworks, though it's not from the World Legacy story.
Which picture?
So it's this.
Okay, I know which one it is.
Yeah, this is a quick play spell that says if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters than you do, your opponent can send any number of monsters they control to the graveyard, then also you apply this effect based on the number they control. So you will either if they have 0 monsters, you'll have your own life points.
Okay.
If they have 1 monster, then they'll gain 2,000 life points. Your opponent gains 2,000 life points. If they have 2 monsters, banish your opponent's entire hand face up until the end phase. So that could get rid of maybe some hand traps, things like that. And then if they have 3 or more, then your opponent cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn. So this is a really interesting card, and I actually had to read it a few times to even fully understand what it's doing.
I mean, it's a card where, because it's a quick play spell, each of those effects has a different kind of meaning if it's your turn or your opponent's turn.
Very much
so. It really is a weird card to wrap your head around.
Yeah. So in most cases, your opponent kind of gets to control their own destiny.
Yeah.
Right. Like how many cards they're willing to get rid of it's up to them. Right. They could, in theory, actually gain some life points or lose, or have you lose some life points. But the more realistic, like sort of side effect of this is that if you get to banish your opponent's entire hand face up until the end phase, then if it's happening on their turn, that's the rest of their plays.
Yeah, which sounds
like that's
bad.
That could be a turn-ending thing. Like
unless you activate it once they got their full board out, then they're like, I don't care if you hit my hand.
I mean, so my idea would be that, like, I guess you use it kind of when they're at that part right where they're about to sink into the thing or link into the thing. Like they got all the warm bodies out on the field. They're like 4 monsters, and you can like use this. And then also, if your opponent cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn, well, that's just another sort of turn-stopping thing. But if you use this on your turn as opposed to on their turn, then like banishing their hand face up could get rid of hand traps that would potentially stop you, or not being able to activate monster effects for the rest of the turn means that you could turn off certain negates or other types of interruption, apollosis, and that sort of thing.
There's a lot of strategy here.
Yeah,
which is good.
I don't fully comprehend this card.
Same,
I think. Yeah,
but like
what it means.
But my issue with this card is a lot of that strategy your opponent gets to decide.
Yeah, it does leave the power in their hands, and I don't know how I feel about that.
You can call it a fair, evenly matched, but I don't like that my opponent has like 4 different options. They can leave themselves with 0 monsters. They can leave themselves with what's the threshold? It's
0, 1, 2, or 3+.
Or 3+. So, or they can just negate it because this card can be responded to.
Yeah, I think they should have made it where this card couldn't be responded to, just to add that extra, like, kind of Dark Ruler No More level of.
That makes me too nervous. Like my opponent has a lot of options. There is a way to find a least impactful situation out of a card like that. This
will be the sort of thing where, like, I'd be very interested in seeing, like, the first YCS where it's legal, like, who's going to be that kind of fringe player,
the Maverick,
like, they're really willing to put this to the test, and like it ends up winning them the whole thing.
We need a trailblazer in Yu-Gi-Oh. Who's it gonna be?
Yeah. So
It kind of reminds me. Actually, these last 2 cards, the Mini Max C and the Baby Evenly Matched, they make me think back to that trap card we got in Phantom Nightmare, the Black Goat Laughs.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not nearly as quirky as those are, and even then we're still like, this card can be good, but who's going to do it? Who's going to be the guy?
These quirky cards are fun. I like the quirky cards because they still have the potential to be strong. Like, these aren't like quirky gimmicks that suck. They're quirky gimmicks that have the power to like change the turn or the duel, but it feels like it's like risky to run this sort of stuff.
Like, if you can put your opponent into a catch-22 with these cards, they're great.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm capable of crafting the combo with the right deck that makes it. But I'm going to be watching all you better players, and I'm going to see what y'all do with them.
I think, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I think that there's like more low-effort cards that can kind of do enough of the same, like a Dark Ruler No More, Droplets. But this does have its own niche, so.
And I mean, and now that we're out of Burrowed Savage and
Barone, yeah, they're not going to be as easy to negate this.
It might be harder to negate this now.
Not many spell trap negates. Cool. Okay. Some Master Duel news. This is really brief. They have a new festival they're doing, and this one's kind of interesting. It's like a 3-way festival where basically you pick between like Team Synchro, Team Xyz, or Team Fusion.
Like Pokemon Go?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
And so what you're doing is like, if you are Team Synchro, then you'll be pitted against Team Xyz and Team Fusion players. Basically, they're going to be playing under the Fusion or Xyz festival rules. And you'll get like points for Team Synchro.
And you're gonna like duel against the other 2 factions.
Yeah, so it's like kind of a turf war thing. They've done that once before with like the Team Light and Team Dark or whatever it was, or like Fairy Fiend, something like that. This is, I think, a really cool event.
Yeah, actually, that's cool. I like that.
I've said for a while that I think Master Duel needs more of the like server wide kind of like something. Master Duel can feel so empty and kind of impersonal when you're just laddering.
Right.
So, and even when you play the events, they're fun, but like, I mean, you're just playing the event. Here, it's like you're a little bit maybe more invested in seeing one side win or something. So,
and with custom ban lists, it can make for kind of quirkier deck choices and and the text that you run will be different, especially since you know your opponents will be running.
They'll be locked into
into these extra.
I'm playing an Xyz only deck, and I know that I'll be playing against Synchro only or Fusion only decks.
So if you didn't pick Synchro, right, and you're gonna be playing against. So you know that maybe like half your opponents are playing Synchros. Maybe you run cards that or Synchros and Xyz. Let's say you're playing Fusion. You run cards that change levels.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes they'll like ban some of the better ones, but you never know. Stuff always sneaks.
There's so many weird things in this game. So, question, Paul.
Yeah.
Which side are you picking?
Well, I haven't decided. I mean, you are able to actually jump between them at any time, but I think it's a little bit like takes some mistakes out of it.
I feel like you have to commit.
I think it'd be nice if you like were forced to commit, but if I had to play one, I'll probably play the Xyz one. Because most of the decks I like Exo Sister, Rika, like a lot of them tend to be Xyz-based strats.
Which one do you think is the strongest between Fusion, Xyz, and Synchro?
I think Synchro is probably the strongest. Because Barone and Borreload Savage aren't banned in Master Duel, so and they have like Chaos Angel and Dispater, and so they've got the suite of really powerful stuff. Not to say that the other two are like slouches. There's good decks,
again,
but
Fusions have branded.
Yeah, Fusions will have like branded and stuff. So there's really no telling where it'll go.
Jade's a real card,
but I could see on average Synchro probably like being the top dog.
Yeah, that's fair.
You said there was a Duel Links ban list.
Oh yeah, so. Duel Links did get a ban list. I'm waiting for this page to load.
Okay.
It's stalling.
Taking its sweet time. Well, I will say real quick while you're just loading that up, they revealed the Dueling Mirrors tin. If you remember, we talked about that last week.
But we didn't have a picture of it.
At the time, we did not have an image of what the tin looked like. Well, you will be happy to know. Trying to get like better signal.
Trying to get some signal over here.
You'll be happy to know they revealed the top of the tin. Now it says that the 16 cards shown on the sides of the tin are what are going to be available as quarter century secret rares. So Konami was kind of strategic here.
They don't want to show us yet.
And not showing you the sides of the tins. But what do you think of the image? You like the...
No, it looks kind of dumb. Because like if there's a dueling mirror, then they should be looking at...
the same pose.
Yeah. Or
I said
they should either be a mirror image or looking at each other.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I thought it would have been kind of neat if like they were making the same pose. But I will say this is new art of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kaiba that I have not yet seen. And I think it looks pretty cool on its own right. So
I mean, yeah, that's true. I'll take it. But so I have the Duel Links ban list. It's actually a pretty interesting list.
One last quick thing about this tin.
Oh, yeah?
It's silver, whereas all the other ones generally like recently have been like gold. Or I guess last year.
That is striking. It is a striking difference. I think
that the silver kind of mirror finish could be like a cool.
It is mirrored. It's just confusing on shelves.
Yeah, not much else to say about it since we don't know the actual cards, but cool. Okay, tell us about the Duel Links ban list.
A bunch of cards got unlimited.
Okay. Now, fair warning, I don't know like the Duel Links meta. So like going into this, what's like the best deck right now, let's say, just so I can have
right now it's pretty diverse. After it hits to the...
Because I know last time they hit the Tachyon.
Yeah, they hit Tachyon. They hit it pretty well too. They hit Shiranui as well.
Okay.
It's a pretty diverse format. I'm trying to remember what I saw about top decks going in. I know zombies are pretty good. I know all I care about are zombies, so it's hard to think about other decks.
Okay, what's the list?
There's a lot of cool decks in Duel Links right now. Anyway, so Tour Guide went to 3.
Okay.
It was at limit 3, now it's unlimited. Mm-hmm. Miloseek, unlimited.
Altergeist Miloseek, okay.
Yes. Starry Night Blast, unlimited. It went from 1 to unlimited. Galactic Spiral Dragon, who just went to limit 3, is unlimited.
Okay.
So
I guess they're kind of walking back some
got a
of the
card
Tachyon
back.
stuff.
Digital Bug Rhinoceros is going from limit 2 to unlimited. I hate saying these names. Ninaruru, the Magister's Glass Goddess.
Oh, Nina Rooney or whatever? I think Nina Rooney or something.
Ninaruru.
Yeah. Okay.
Went from limit 1 to unlimited. I didn't even know we were playing Magisters like that in Duel Links.
I didn't know either. I'm surprised.
DD Savant Thomas, I remember this went to limit 2, is unlimited.
Okay.
Endymion, the Magisters of Mastery, went from limit 3 to unlimited. So, and those are all the changes for Speed Duel Links.
Okay.
A bunch of cards for a bunch of strategies all went to just unlimited, just to free up your decks to run things. So this was really
more of a, this was like less of a like ban list and more of a like
a freeing
more list. Yeah, free list. You're unbanned.
I think with the newer limit 3s that went into effect, deck building for certain decks had just become too difficult,
too restricted,
and almost unnecessarily so, because a lot of the archetypes I'm talking about here, they're not likely to make a huge splash. I'm skeptical of Galactic Spiral Dragon though, but it's not likely.
They're loosening things up a bit. Okay.
And now on to Rush Duel Links, where we just kind of continue the trend. So all the Dragius players can rejoice, because Dragius is really the only Rush Duel Links deck that had to get dealt with, because Dragius is a great monster. It attacks multiple times. It can OTK you out of nowhere. Well, OTK is a stretch, but it can finish you out of nowhere. Piercing Dragon Bunker Strike was on limit 3. I know it's a weird name, but it's actually a really solid monster. It's unlimited. So, and maybe even more importantly, Sports Dragon Pitcher was at limit 2. It is now unlimited, because we got new Sports Dragons, but the old Sports Dragons had been hit already, so you couldn't really run them anymore. Well, now we've kind of alleviated that a bit. So I think Dragius players or just Dragon players and Rush Duels in general are gonna be happy.
Okay.
There were also speed skill changes. The Shaddoll archive skill. Archive skills can be used by any character. They're not limited. It got a buff. And also got a slight nerf. So they removed its special summon restriction. I forget how it exactly worked. It has something to do with special summoning from extra deck. They instead changed the special summon restriction to a deck building restriction, which is across the board better for a skill. If you're going to use the Shaddoll skill, you have to use spellcasters and Shaddolls in your deck and nothing else. That's good. If you play pure Shaddolls, they're all spellcasters, they're all Shaddolls, you're good. We had Rush Duel skill changes, one not as important, one way more important. Servant of Dawn, the archive skill for the Dawn Knight guy. We saw him during the Invitational. Not very good. It just has a new requirement where you have to have a level 6 or higher normal monster with 1500 defense or higher. I have no idea what that changes. More importantly, Roa's skill, undoubtedly the strongest deck in Rush Duel Links right now, with the what are they called? Royal Rebels. It's a fiend strategy. His skill got pretty drastically nerfed. So I'll just read up what Duel Links meta has on it, because it's a lot to say. So Hell Tuning Invasion, it says both the effect on your monsters and your opponent's monsters has been changed to only affect up to 2 monsters on either side, and now the position change and level modulation occur based on the monster's battle position, not to every monster, and you can no longer attack with monsters below 2300 attack or above 4000 attack a turn you use it. This functionally removes the possibility of Royal Rebels Heavy Metal OTKs on top of its other nerfs. However, the skill now sets the monster's level to 4 rather than reducing it by 4. Meaning you can destroy applicable maximums with the effect of your Royal Rebels Invasion. So, as much as I really don't want to have to read this skill aloud, I guess I'll just do it, so that we can see how the skill reads now. Hell Tuning Invasion. This skill can only be used if all of the monsters with 1400 or more attack in your deck are light attribute fiend monsters. It's a hard lock, so you can't run other things in your deck, but for Royal Rebels, you did not need to. Requirement: send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Low cost. Effect: make 2 face-up level 4 or lower fiend monsters on your field become level 5 until the end of the turn. A lot of your Royal Rebels get their big field clearing effects from tributing higher level monsters for their normal summons. Then you can choose up to 2 monsters on your opponent's field. If you do, make face-up monsters chosen become level 4 until the end of the turn, and change face-down defense position monsters chosen to face-up attack position. So you were able to flip your opponent's monsters face-down to face-up and just do OTKs. Now it says it has to be 2. Before, it could be their whole board. And then it says, during this turn, I clicked and it went away. It says, during this turn, you can only attack with monsters. And it's a weird wording here. You can only attack with monsters that have attack between 2,300 and 4,000.
Okay.
So nothing too weak can do anything, and nothing incredibly strong can do anything. There are situations where your Royal Rebels could get quite big. So it's actually a very huge nerf to an overtuned scale.
Okay. Yeah, cool. A lot of that went over my head, but I'm sure for the Rush Duel players, this is a big deal.
It Royal Rebels is the best Rush Duel deck right now, and they needed some nerfs, they needed some hits, and this might. I mean, hopefully this is enough. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And a last couple of little Yu-Gi-Oh news bits. I saw that in the OCG we got an alternate art polymerization and 1-for-1 are going to be like these sort of V-Jump promos. I'm assuming that we'll have these imported here.
The 5Ds inspired ones, right?
Yeah, 1-for-1's got Sonic Chick, and polymerization has, I think, Stardust and Red Dragon Archfiend, and they're both.
Did they ever get fused in the anime?
I didn't watch enough 5Ds to know.
I don't know. I don't know.
To be completely honest.
I feel like it might have happened.
Yeah.
It might have. Because there's only one Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist that has never used a fusion monster.
Was it Yusei?
Nope, Yusei's used a fusion monster.
He's used a fusion? Okay.
But can you guess who never fused?
I guess Yuma.
It actually is Yuma. He's the only one who's never fused.
Yeah, because I know, Arc 5 it was also pretty big on fusion. Cool, yeah, so these are neat. I think that they certainly look cool. I don't know if you've seen them, or I guess you've seen them.
Yeah, I've seen them. Not in a large picture like this. Ooh.
Yeah, so some cool. Like, they literally, turned... this is Red Dragon and Stardust Dragon, right?
Let me see him again. It looked like him when I first
kind of look like it. Is it actually?
Wait, let me look really close. Oh, I'm not so sure anymore. Yeah. Oh my God!
Wait, they're not.
I am blind as a bat. That's Burstinatrix.
That's Burstinatrix. Yeah, that's Avian and Burstinatrix.
Avian and Burstinatrix.
Yeah. Okay.
What are my? I saw it. It was small.
I didn't recognize.
In my defense, when I saw this image, it was small, and for some reason, Burstinatrix looked like Red Dragon Archfiend.
Yeah, and then last quick thing. V-Jump promo Karibo card was revealed. We don't know what the what the effect is. It's the secret still, but it's a bunch of Karibos, so it looks like the effect might be something kind of akin to multiply or.
It does look interesting. It's that's a very specific Karibo artwork they're using. I forget which printing of Karibo uses that.
Yeah,
artwork.
it's one of the older ones. It's got the purple. It looks very purple and has yellow claws compared to. Yeah.
Interesting. So it might be just Karibo multiply in card form, in monster form. I mean.
Yeah. Don't know. Maybe
it's time to break out the Karibos.
Well, they just banned Link Karibo, so you're not going to be Link summoning too much with them if you do. Anyways, I think that's all the Yu-Gi-Oh news for today.
That's all I had. I do have a couple card game stories.
You got some card game stories? Cool. I want to hear them.
So, Wizards of the Coast president Cynthia Williams is stepping down.
Wizards of the Coast president. Okay, I didn't know who their president was.
I didn't know either, but...
What's the story on this?
So, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro Gaming president Cynthia Williams has resigned from her position at the company. As revealed by United States Securities and Exchange Commission filings, she informed Hasbro of her resignation on April 15th, 2024, and will leave on April 26th. The Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons publisher has currently made no statement about Williams' departure or her reasons for leaving. The filing simply states that Hasbro is conducting a process to identify her successor, looking at both internal and external candidates. How corporate of them.
Okay. So are there, I guess there's not
There's not too much more. We can extrapolate some things, though, because Cynthia joined Hasbro in February of 2022, taking over from Chris Cox, who became Hasbro's CEO. Previously, Williams worked as general manager and VP of the gaming ecosystem commercial team at Microsoft, and before this, she worked for Amazon. So she's essentially been CEO for 2 years, or not CEO, she was the president, but she was there for 2 years, and some people think that this has been the worst 2 years in Magic history. Some people.
So some people are like glad to see her gone.
Yeah, some people point to her as the reason why Magic has gone in a new direction. Now, to be fair, Magic is also like bigger than it's ever been before because of like the last 2 years.
Collabs and expansions.
I don't know how much we can directly attribute to her. I mean, she probably had the final say so on a lot of that stuff, but
I mean, also a lot of that stuff was probably like in the works before she even got there, because she only got there in 2022.
Yeah, she didn't even work for the company.
Yeah, I'm led to believe that like half that stuff was like planned in like
especially since
2019, 2020.
Because the old president moved on to be Hasbro's CEO, so it's likely Cox still had a large hand in this.
A hand in that. I don't know that it would be really fair to say that like if you like or dislike it, that like she's like solely responsible. I mean, this makes me think of like those YouTube stories where like Neil Mahan or whatever is like the current YouTube CEO. And you replace like Susan Wojcicki, and people will kind of, whenever there's a new CEO change, it's like everything you hate about the platform, you can now like pin squarely on him.
Yep.
He made all these changes or whatever, or like, she ruined YouTube. So I doubt that this person is responsible for it all. And
maybe they could be, but we'll never know.
Yeah, like it's not like we're gonna get much.
We don't get to know. What we can, I think the only thing we can say is, we shouldn't be surprised if we see some new initiatives once they get a new president, which this can take a while to fill.
I wonder what okay, so that reminds me. Do you have another Magic story, by the way?
No.
Okay, so that reminds me. This is kind of relevant to what we were talking about last week with Loot, the new mascot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you pulled one, by the way, didn't you?
I did pull a Loot.
It was cute. I saw. Okay. People were informing me in the comments why they don't like Loot, because I had asked like what's people's deal about this, and it's pretty much kind of what we said, where people feel that it's it feels over marketed, over mascotted, but maybe even extrapolating a little further than that, people feel that it sort of goes on to further cement Magic's loss of identity that a lot of players have been feeling over the last couple of years. So that feels like it kind of ties into this, that hard time there or whatever. Is like people feel that Magic the Gathering has, through all these collabs and all these like kind of changes to their story and stuff, that it just visually doesn't look and feel like the same game, like thematically or lore wise, and that this loot is maybe just another step in that direction that some players, not all players, but some players do not like.
I won't go as far as to completely agree with that statement. I will say the Magic identity is certainly diluted.
Yeah.
Because, while I haven't played Magic for years, I've been aware of Magic for a very, very long time. And I did play it back when I was in middle school for a short time. And there was one thing I could be 110% sure of way back in middle school. Magic cards had a look. And now at the time, I said they were ugly. Don't kill me in the comments. That's just because they didn't look like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They didn't have that kind of anime-ish aesthetic. They had their own thing going. And for years, that was the Magic look. And if you like that, which I like that now, to be clear, I'm actually a fan of old Magic look. But if you like that then, now there's a bit of an issue with all of the collabs and the secret layers, because now these extremely different cards
totally disparate.
And I always look at like the My Little Pony cards as an example of what Magic is today. 1 minute I can be playing Hrothgar, Umbral Horror of Destruction, this like corrupt evil machination of God. And next thing you know, I'm playing Fluttershy, the like My Little Pony creature who bronies love.
Yeah, something that I've noticed with these cards is that like some of the Magic collabs, I don't think all of them do this, but some of them like actually change the font style and like the card border a little bit. I've seen some of those.
That's another thing. So those aren't even just collabs either. With the collector booster and a lot of just their efforts to kind of make Magic cards more collectible, they'll completely change the formatting of those cards. They won't even look like Magic cards by the time they're done with it.
Yeah.
In the Lord of the Rings Universes Beyond set, they had these cards that were designed to look like I would say 80s movie posters.
Yeah.
And they were impossible to read. At least I couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
They look nothing like a traditional Magic card. And nowadays, if you walk around like a Commander event, there'll be multiple pods going around. You'll look down at the table and like
you can't immediately tell what game they're playing.
Yeah, like 70% of the cards look like Magic cards, and then the rest
don't always. Yeah. No, that's kind of my thing. I know I saw a video from the professor. This is like a year and a half or so ago now, but like where he was kind of talking about the same thing, like just that Magic kind of feels like in some ways it's missing a bit of identity. Mm-hmm. And I don't play Magic, right? So this
yet,
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to practice a little right now, but it doesn't mean very much to me as just a passerby sort of person looking from a distance. But I can see where like people might kind of feel upset about that because Yu-Gi-Oh's gotten some of the same concerns over the years. Like when we kind of made the shift to like a lot of anime style like monsters, like anime protagonist, or people kind of talk about the waifu cards, or
like. But Konami's pretty like staunch about that, like the rest of the card.
But I do think that they tend to keep it. Yu-Gi-Oh still it's established its modern look and it's mostly kept to that. So that's a little follow up.
Our borders are the same. Our formatting is the same. They don't like changing that.
The only bit of fun they've ever had with that was like for hires, where they changed the way that their
the naming scheme
card text kind of works. Search a monster for hire from your deck to your hand.
Yeah, they don't like messing with that anymore.
Yeah, they don't rock the boat much.
In that way, our identity is more solid. Maybe our card artworks are like a little disparate, but even a Yu-Gi-Oh card when you see one.
You know them.
With sadly, or maybe that's a good thing for some Magic players. I have a few cards in my collection, Paul, that
you wouldn't be sure.
You couldn't know. Distance.
Well, good luck to Magic. For anybody who's like kind of follows Wizards and stuff, what do you think about the current CEO stepping down? Is this something like to be praised or lauded? I don't know what relationship. Like it's funny, right? In Wizards of the Coast, I guess they know employees. Yeah. I remember every time I've spoken to like a Magic player, they're aware of like some of the people who work at Wizards of the Coast. Like they know their names and faces. Konami, it's like so much different. Like in recent years, Billy Brake and like Jerome McHale have, they're kind of in those videos, so you know who they are.
That's because Konami doesn't trust other people.
But like, we don't like the collective community doesn't know who like the president or the vice president or whatever. Like people don't really know that.
I mean, I think.
And it's not seen as like a big thing in our community.
Konami Digital certainly tries to keep a distance from the players. I think Wizards is different. Wizards wants to try and foster the sense of community and closeness to their detriment at times. But they do.
Because like when something goes wrong, then like the players know exactly who they want. Yeah, like it was your call. So I mean, I think it's probably maybe for Konami's for the best that like their employees aren't like so publicly out there and like who designed this card that you hate or whatever, or like who exactly made this ban list.
Because I mean, in the case of like a Wizards employee wanted to go check out like a Magic event, they would get swamped because
they might be like something like a celebrity.
But if a Konami employee wants to check out an event, unless they're wearing their uniform, people probably wouldn't know
like who they. Yeah. So, which way is better? I wonder.
I think it's just a matter of okay. If
you're running a card game, you're the company running a card.
Oh,
game.
Then if it's up to me, I'm staying away from all y'all.
Well, no, like would you have your employees even be? You wouldn't have.
We're gonna be the shadow government.
Facing. Okay, like the black box approach.
We're gonna have like one person whose name people know, and that's our scapegoat. And once they get finally sick of the job, we'll just put someone else in that position.
Yeah, it's.
Whenever I want to fire someone, I give them that job.
Yeah, I think that I like Wizards' approach a little more than I think Konami's approach, but only a little.
I think
it saves them. I think Konami's approach. Sorry, you first.
I'd say it works more in the social media age. I think.
Yeah, in the social media age, that's what I was going to say. Is it feels more like progressive and just people want to kind of be able to hear from their developers. I've always said Konami needs to communicate more, but I do think that the one benefit to Konami's system is that it saves their employees some mental health struggles. Because I feel terrible at times for like these social media managers for like these game companies and stuff, because they get it rough. Like people say terrible things, and
I don't know how Harada's on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, so anywho, okay. Sorry, I kind of made that tangent. Any other card game stuff? I've got like a Pokemon card game story, but you might have this story.
Oh, do you have it?
The Lounge?
I do have it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can, yeah. Because you told me about this, so.
Let's pop it open. So there is a Pokemon Lounge, a Pokemon TCG Lounge opening in Shibuya, or it might already be open. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, it's not open yet. It is the... I don't have an official name for it.
Yeah.
But they're working with the Culture Convenience Club to open a Pokemon Card Lounge in Shibuya on April 25th.
Okay.
So as the facility's title suggests, people will be able to play Pokemon TCG on the lounge's tables. Those who come without their own decks can also borrow preset decks, including a limited number of Pokemon TCG Classic decks.
Oh, that was that $400 set.
You gotta find a use for it, you know?
Yeah, I guess I have enough sitting around.
The lounge will also offer 50 types of drinks and 30 types of snacks, which are available for free after people have paid the entry fee.
The entry fee? What is the entry fee?
Now, I know a lot of you guys are not familiar with having to like pay entry fees to go to a card shop, but at least in this place in Shibuya, people can pay 1,650 yen, 1,650 yen.
It's like $12 roughly.
Actually, right now, I think it might be 10.
Might be less, okay.
Yeah. To access the lounge for the first 60 minutes. So, in a sense, like $10 for an hour of play. And then it's an additional 660 yen for every additional 30 minutes. Or they can also pay 3,650 to stay for 3 hours. So you can get a bit of a deal if you're going to stay for 3. And I think a lot of people would like to stay for 3 hours. Private rooms that host up to 4 people are also available at 8,250 yen for the first hour, with 3,300 yen for every 30-minute extension.
Okay.
However, the lounge will only accept several cashless payment methods. So this is a non-cash business.
Which, you kind of expect it.
It also have a sales area with apparel and merchandise, and it actually looks pretty decent.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. I like the merch.
Like modern chic, nothing too crazy.
So, I think this is awesome.
Yeah, it could be more awesome.
How do you mean?
I think it should be more expensive.
Okay.
I just love the idea of things that are exclusive that most people can't get into, where I don't have to wait in line. Because that's my only issue with something like this.
I think you have a good point.
Incredibly popular, and so more than likely you're gonna be in a queue. Like,
yeah, I mean, it is funny, when you mention like, oh, it should be more expensive. That sounds like a harsh thing, but that can actually make it at least a little bit more available for people. Still, though, given the price that it is, I like that it's affordable, and I like that people can buy like food and drinks and merch. It's something that, and I'm always going to say, I wish that Yu-Gi-Oh could have this. It reminds me, though, there are places sort of like this in the United States. We went to one, the Magic the Gathering one, when we collabed with the professor a year or so back.
The restaurant bar?
Yeah, there's like a restaurant
that had all the
bar,
space for Commander?
Where you could like reserve rooms and play Commander, like pods and all that stuff.
It was cool.
Really, and it was like attached to a card shop on the other side, like a kind of game shop on the other side. That's awesome. I think that like that sort of thing makes the game feel really welcoming.
I'd love to run a business like that.
Yeah, it makes the game feel welcoming. People get to kind of come in, hang out, relax, and grab a drink, grab some food, have some friends, play some Pokemon. If you don't have cards and you just say you maybe came with a group of friends and like you don't really play Pokemon, you can like rent a deck.
Yep.
Like have a little trial deck or whatever, and just chill, have a good couple hours, and take your ass home. I don't know. I mean, like you had a good time.
I would like a clean, nice smelling venue.
I think that. Yeah.
I feel like 'cause if you have to pay to get in, I feel like a lot of people will subconsciously take care of themselves a bit more.
That's actually true. That's 100% true. Like if you have to pay to get in, it makes it. We were talking last week about the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that smelled really awful, and like the one who allegedly like left because of it or whatever. Well, I think that like when you have to pay for something, it does add a layer of importance to what you're doing, where it's like, okay, I'm going out with friends to like do this. It's going to be like kind of an event tonight. So I might want to actually dress a little better, finally take that shower for the first time this week.
Woo!
Like it's so.
In the trailer, it felt like a very casual, but not too casual experience, and I like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at this trailer while
I don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm priced out of this. That sucks. But I think I would like it where I could do this as a like bi-weekly thing.
Yeah.
Where it costs enough where I can afford to do this once every 2 weeks with a group of friends. Maybe 4 people. I mean, maybe if it's like 6 people, it might get expensive. But I don't know. I feel like that you can have a good time that way. I mean, maybe if you want to play like weekly or like daily Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe you go back to your old card shop.
Yeah, I feel like the card shop's like the free place to play.
But a lounge.
Yeah, I'm looking at this video. The ambiance is like
that.
The ambiance is
kind of
really
nice, man.
It's very modern looking. Kind of this really like
when you walk in through the door, they check your nails to make sure they're cut.
Yeah, it's modern looking.
They turn you around if they're not.
This moody fluorescent lighting, I would almost say, and like it's very spacious.
Like it feels like a place where I wouldn't be upset when my opponent like touches my cards because I know their hands are clean.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's cool. I'm into it. I hope that Yu-Gi-Oh could maybe get something like this in Japan if it doesn't already have it. There's so many things in Japan I don't.
God, like, now I think of, now I'm getting annoyed because I remember it. Now I'm having all these like thoughts about things that people have done at card shops that have annoyed me.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had people who you're playing a game of Yu-Gi-Oh, or in this case I think it was Digimon, and like when they're talking about whether like they're targeting or they're activating or they're interacting with your cards, they like jam their finger into your card.
Oh, I hate it.
I
don't like people tapping cards. I don't like people bending cards. I don't like when people there was this one funny it was like a sort of exaggerated skit, but it was like a guy who was summoning a raw sphere mode on the other guy's field. You might have seen this
video.
Wait,
yeah, that one.
And he like takes the raw sphere mode,
and he
distributes
flips
the 3 cards, and he just takes the sphere and flings the guy's 3 monsters just right off the board, like onto the floor. And obviously they were kind of playing it up for the video, but like there are Yu-Gi-Oh players who kind of like do things like that, or other just card game players, like they'll kind of like wipe your cards off the field to summon sphere mode, or like kind of like touch and tap. And I've even gotten to the point where like I don't like people picking up like my graveyard. Like I know that it's a public knowledge thing, and so they're allowed to do that, but it's more like when people will just kind of like. Maybe I'm just anal about dirty hands. I don't know.
I don't like my opponent touching my cards. Now
just, like,
I can put it to the side. I can move that to the side. But like when that person was just like jabbing my cards with their hand, I'm just like
fingernails and stuff.
My card,
man,
these cards are more expensive than
you are.
Yeah, these cards are worth more to me than your life is. I need you to stop.
Anyway,
like I don't know. I just feel like at this lounge in this imaginary lounge in my head, that
clientele would not frequent Alex. Home for imaginary Yu-Gi-Oh players. Okay, well, there's a sort of quick related Pokemon Go story from Reddit. Pokemon Go fans are wondering if players are actually Team Rocket. Yeah. Okay. It's easy to think of yourself as the hero in a game, especially in the Pokemon franchise, but are players really the villains in the Pokemon Go world? The Pokemon franchise offers people a chance to go on grand adventures and interact with heaps of vibrant characters. The games often place you in the shoes of a champion or adventurer, Pokemon Go included, but what if that's not quite the case? There's a theory roaming around the internet right now that Pokemon Go players are actually the villains in the Go universe. To be more specific, they act just like Team Rocket does toward the protagonist in the Pokemon anime. It does make sense. The theory argues that Pokemon Go players steal Pokemon from Team Rocket members, and that they also take part in other shady dealings, like stockpiling Pokemon and discarding the weak ones.
How do we know they do that at all? What is this nonsense?
It's a joke. It's the gameplay loop. Like, that's actually what you do in Pokemon Go.
But they're wild Pokemon. They're not owned by anyone.
Yeah, but like you're still stockpiling Pokemon and then being like, oh, these are weak, I'm getting rid of them. I mean, I'm only keeping the strong ones.
That's every Pokemon game. We don't ask what happens when you release them.
Yeah, originally popping up in a Reddit post, a Pokemon Go fan raised the question of whether the players in the game are actually filling the same shoes as Team Rocket. They noted, we beat them up in a Pokemon battle and then steal one of their Pokemon, which I guess you do that in Pokemon Go now? I didn't know Team Rocket was in there. Have we inadvertently become the Team Rocket to Team Rocket? And so players were fascinated by the question, diving straight into the debate, and also exploring shadow Pokemon lore in the process. So, yeah. It's kind of an interesting, kind of fun, like, thought that maybe we're the actual villain. It's like the whole, like...
Not me. I don't play Pokemon Go. Maybe the rest of y'all.
I don't either,
The rest of y'all evil. I don't know. Then again, a kid did punch me because I was wearing a Team Rocket hat once.
Yeah.
That happened. That was a real thing. I almost clocked him right back.
A kid at a convention. You give me back my Charizard.
That's actually how it went. That is how that interaction went. He almost got swung on.
Because I guess you're taking the Team Rocket's shadow Pokemon is how it works. Like, so in Pokemon Go, they've introduced like shadow Pokemon. And Team Rocket members, Team Rocket members will have that. And you're like, when you beat the Team Rocket members, you're like kind of retrieving the shadow Pokemon from them. But I guess from a different perspective, it could be interpreted as you are actually stealing their Pokemon. It's a nonsense thing.
Can you steal from a thief? I guess so.
I would think so. I mean,
but does that make you a thief?
More dilemma indeed.
I feel like you're only really a thief if you steal from someone truly innocent. But then who's truly innocent?
Team Rocket thinks they're truly innocent.
I don't think they think that at all.
They think they're justified. That is the best.
I don't even know if they think they're justified.
Well, I mean, the grunts don't have a mind of their own, but like Giovanni and his admins think that what they're doing is okay. So,
because I remember Jesse and James, they seem to take pleasure in being the bad guys. They knew they weren't. They knew they weren't right.
Sort of. I mean, I feel like with Jesse and James, they were sort of just like they wanted to get in good with the boss
by stealing Pokemon from people.
But mostly they were just trying to steal the Pikachu. Not like people's Pokemon in general. They wanted Ash's Pikachu.
But remember, multiple times they tried to take other people's Pokemon too.
Yeah, true. I mean, they're kind of
they were bad. They wanted to be bad at least. Were they successful? No.
Okay, anyways, that's just a fun little Pokemon Go.
But that's all I have for
all the card games.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I've got a few other little quickie stories.
What you got?
So, here's some fun in the gaming sector.
Ooh.
Okay, that was like from upstairs. Yeah, so some fun in the gaming sector. Sony's PS5 Pro is real, and developers are getting ready for it.
Oh, I think I read something about this. I did read something about this.
So Sony's getting ready to release a more powerful PS5 console, possibly by the end of the year. After reports of leaked PS5 Pro specifications surfaced recently, The Verge has obtained a full list of specs for the upcoming console. I'm not going to read these specs because I don't really know that much about them, but apparently it's going to emphasize ray tracing. It's going to have a more powerful GPU and a slightly faster CPU. And also it's going to have an upscaling technology that will allow it to play games that are not like running in 4K at like 4K.
Okay. No, that makes... Because I read about someone had a video up with leaks and they got taken down like yesterday or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that too. So there's going to be a little bit more memory and like all that stuff. Okay. All these specs are great and all.
Yeah.
That's cool. I want to ask the hard-hitting questions, such as a PS5 owner, do you feel that like a PS5 Pro like needs to happen?
No.
Okay. Are you're buying this if this comes out? If you didn't have a PS5 and you had the option between a Pro and a normal one, which do you think you would purchase?
The Pro.
You'd buy the Pro. So you do think that there's like some value in that for a new person purchasing like when it comes out? Explain yourself. So
I personally like to just have whatever the flagship thing is.
Right.
I do not think that's a wise investment for anybody else.
Okay.
Like, if you are the type of person who just likes to have the flagships and you can afford to do it and you do it often, sure, go ahead and do it. But I don't think if you don't already have a PS5, there is no reason to get a Pro. I can't wrap my head around why you would do that.
If you don't already have a PS5?
Yeah, if you don't have a PS5.
Okay.
I don't know why you should get a Pro. It's more expensive. Yeah, it's more powerful, but any PS5 games that come out in the future have to be made for the Pro and the normal version.
PS5, yeah.
This will cost you less, and I don't know if the performance is...
The games aren't seeming like they're...
Like, at the rate we've been going with PS5 games, I mean, how many more games are we going to get that even fully utilize what the normal PS5 can do?
Yeah. So, I mean, as for me... I think of these Pro consoles, last gen, they were pretty cool, like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. This time around, I've said this in previous podcasts. I'm not a gamer, so I don't know everything that's going on here. Okay, lay off. But I don't think that there've been enough like next gen games for even
like there have been a few titles
for someone who want to get like a pro console, right?
Like only PlayStation exclusives can truly take advantage of what a PS5 can do. And how many more like AAA exclusive titles do we have coming?
This year, not many. It hasn't looked like. Not that I've kind of been following. Doesn't seem like there have been.
Because like any game that's also made for Xbox has to be made for both the Series X and the Series S, and so the game
Series
is
S bottlenecking a lot of game development.
So the Pro, it sounds like it's a lot of upgrades and features that you don't really need. And the thing is, I'm not gonna get one because I already have a PS5 that I barely use, so I don't need another. If I didn't have one, I would probably just get the Pro just because that'll be the shiniest
but
one.
Only you would do that. Yeah. Maybe for the average person, it's not what you would recommend.
I don't suggest it to really anyone.
I wonder how much it's going to cost.
Let's see.
Do you think they can get away with charging $599?
I think they would. I think that'll probably be the introductory price. It might struggle. But what I kind of foresee there'll be a lot of people who like to have flagships, who like to have shiny things. They're going to sell their PS5s and then throw in the extra to get the Pros.
Which maybe gets more PS5s into more hands in total.
Yeah.
I guess that's
I could see that. I think the only way I would pull that move is if the Pro can come with a disc drive. Because then I would just like sell it to my brother and buy the Pro.
I wonder...
But I got to have a disc drive.
If it's going to be like a separate add-on disc drive thing. I heard a rumor about that. I don't know if that's true.
I don't want a separate. I want it built in.
Yeah. So that's your little tidbit of gaming news. PS5 Pro. If I was to get one, I don't think I would really bother with a Pro. Because I don't have a PS5. If I wanted to get a PS5, I still think I would just get the discless little cheap one. Because I don't have... I just don't.
I mean, I don't think you have many Blu-rays.
I don't, and I would just be getting a few digital games, playing them, and that'd be enough for me.
That's fair.
The discless one's like $450 or something.
It will save you some money. So that's
save me a few pennies, some shams.
I bought mine when it was still limited, so I paid a little bit more than that.
Okay, cool. Back to you.
All right. So, are you familiar with Boston Dynamics?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you have this story. Yes. I saw this. Yes, I saw this. Okay.
So Boston Dynamics has a new robot. Did you see the video yet?
I have seen it. I'm pulling up the story now because I want to
show it to the people.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely gonna put this video up. It's their new it's like a human or whatever. It's called Atlas.
Yeah. So Boston Dynamics Atlas humanoid robot goes electric, which I guess I think the last one was hydraulic. Well, this one's electric based.
Yeah, I know they had Spot. Spot was the dog, and they had some other thing.
Let's see.
So find the video.
Now, people had seen Atlas before. I don't remember seeing the old Atlas, so I won't be able to comment on how different it looks. But it says, the new version of the robot is virtually unrecognizable. Gone is the top-heavy torso, the bowed legs, and plated armor. There are no exposed cables anywhere to be found, which is true. I was actually very impressed with that design. On the new svelte new mechanical skeleton, the company, which has warded off reactionary complaints of robocalypse for decades, has opted for a kinder, gentler than both the original Atlas and more contemporary robots like the Figure 1 and Tesla Optimus. I don't care for the way it keeps rotating its body around to
it can just always rotate its limbs and head and
it's creepy.
Yeah, this video is very unsettling. How tall is it? Did they say?
I don't know. It felt like maybe 5 even, or maybe like 4'11", somewhere around.
It looks a little taller than that.
Does it look taller?
Because the Tesla one was supposed to be 5'8", like the little Tesla stealth robot thing.
I kind of blank whenever I see the word Tesla.
Okay, well, when Tesla kind of showed one a couple years back, it was 5'8", and this one looks like it might be like a little bit shorter, but maybe not. I don't know. There's not a height here.
Scanning to see if there's a.
Yeah, I was trying to look on their. I'm on their press release. Whatever. Well, anyway, okay. So what do you think about this thing? I know it's supposed to help with just things.
So this right here. Yeah. All right, guys, lock in here. This is the future. So humanoid robots were always the goal and the dream.
Right. Okay.
They were. It's weird, but that has actually always been the goal. If you can make a robot that functionally can perform the same like physical duties of a person, and you can get it in a way that isn't like there's no like wires like trailing. I don't know how long this thing can stay powered for, but if it can hold a charge for a while, this thing can change the labor market like by itself. This thing is huge.
Yeah, it's supposed to be able to like pick stuff up, put stuff down, like it can carry things, bring them to you. It can like walk over uneven surfaces. They're making this in tandem with Hyundai actually. Hyundai's helping them with manufacturing it. So
this robot is a game changer. I mean, and I know there's been a lot of robots, and a lot of them can be too expensive to be practical. But design-wise, that's it. That's the look.
So do you like the design? Like you like it?
I do.
Part of it for me is a little bit unnerving because in some cases, like I don't know if it needs to be humanoid. Like this AI robot thing, it's gonna kind of help you, but there's already like an AI system in there, and it just feels like I don't know if I want it to be friendly and like personified looking like.
So the reason I say this is perfect because it hasn't hit that uncanny valley yet. They haven't tried to make it into like an android. It doesn't actually look human, right?
That's true. They're keeping it robotic.
Yeah, it's still clearly a robot, but the design isn't so foreign where it feels like this is some little tool, like a Robot Wars kind of robot that rolls around the ground and has a little hammer on it. If this feels like something that can do work. And like if you told me you had a team of these that were going to build a house, I believe you. 12 of these things, I believe you. I bet they could build a house.
So here's the thing, actually. It is supposed to be more for enterprise than really for like have it around your house. Mm-hmm. So we recently launched Orbit, our Orbit software, which provides a centralized platform to manage your entire robot fleet, site maps, and digital transformation data. So today it's available for Spot, but Stretch and Atlas this is Atlas that we're looking at, will be integrated into this enterprise solution soon.
That's a hive mind, a cloud-based hive mind. Just be clear, just getting that out there.
Yeah, traditionally we have focused on legged robots because we wanted to build robots that could balance and move dynamically, robots that can navigate unstructured, unknown, or antagonistic terrain with ease. The humanoid form factor is a useful design for robots working in a world designed for people. Mm-hmm. It's actually a really nice point that they kind of add in there is like it being human shaped, because I was kind of uneasy about that, but it does make sense that like in a world where like a lot of factories and like stores and things are like built with kind of the two-legged like human in mind, it makes sense that these would have sort of a similar form factor. But they say that form factor doesn't limit our vision of how a bipedal robot can move, what tools it needs to succeed, and how it can help people accomplish more. We designed the electric version of Atlas to be stronger, more dexterous, and more agile. It may resemble a human form factor, but we're equipping the robot to move in the most efficient way possible to complete a task, rather than being constrained by a human range of emotion.
That's why it looks so unsettling.
So it will move in ways that exceed human capabilities. And I think you can certainly see that in the video where it's like, okay, this thing, like if you fall over flat, then you're going to have to like get up a certain way. But this thing just will rotate those arms and legs and that head until like it's like it's back up however it needs to get back up.
Just know, y'all, it's moving efficiently. There's no escape.
Yeah. So when it's chasing you after you take something from the store or
like you weave around a tree and you're like, yeah, get around that, and it instead of dodging the tree, like pivots its body around the tree. Does it lose a step?
Yeah, it's like it sees like who it's chasing after and like kind of like Pythagorean theorems, the shortest like route to you, and then like it, and jumping over a fence or something is like nothing. Right. Like no terrain's gonna slow this down. No craggy.
So that's now jumping. We haven't seen this thing do too many.
It can't like jump, I guess, per se. Yeah.
One of the issues we always have with bipedal robots is the weight of them. Getting that to like balance properly and not have them like cave in on themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know if Atlas can.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's that, but I mean, it can if it's just generally like rough terrain, you're not getting away that it can run. No. Basically, it can run down the stairs.
Can jump, I'm terrified.
Yeah, it can jump, I'm scared. But so basically, like, Atlas seems like it can like walk down the stairs. Like if you try to like jump and run down the stairs, it can like follow you.
Yeah, it's gonna find its way down them stairs. In fact, it might do some weird thing where it kind of tumbles down the stairs and then like. Just like seamlessly
to have it tumbles down and it doesn't get hurt because like it's calculated.
It tumbles down and immediately like springs up as it hits the last. Like, that's scary.
A little terrifying, isn't it? Would you like if you had like a manufacturing business? Would you want some of these Atlas? Like, would you want these over human workers?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So
let's hear it.
If they're good, they're probably way more efficient. I can get a lot more done with robots than people. Mm-hmm. However, I would still need like a team of people to oversee them because I'm not a computer scientist. I don't know how to fix what's going to go wrong.
I mean, their plan is that you'll just have a little app that controls your fleet. I never
want to just rely on something like that. Mm-hmm. I'd want to have people on hand that can like momentarily replace them if and when I need to. Because like if something catastrophic goes wrong and they all cut off, I got nothing because I fired all my employees. Yeah, I don't want to be in that situation. I think mixed teams are the way to go.
Teams would be a good way to go.
Where they perform certain tasks and humans perform other tasks, mm-hmm. but the humans can still do their tasks if necessary.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about these two? Well, okay, second question. This is probably not like the final form of this, obviously. They're going to continue to innovate on these. Mm-hmm. Would you want one of these in your house? The first question was like, would you want you have a manufacturing business, you want them in your factory. Now, this little guy's in your house with his rotating arms and his pivoting head and his big camera.
Can I take it in a fight?
It doesn't look like it.
Because like that's.
I mean, how are you gonna? You can't knock it down. I feel like it will just. I mean, I feel like you could
see. We're getting into like iRobot territory. See, I wouldn't trust any type of kill switch that they would give me.
Yeah,
I need to know I can beat the living shit out of this thing.
Okay, so you're saying you probably wouldn't want this in your house?
Nah, not unless like I know I can take a baseball bat to it and end its career.
Yeah, because like I always think it's less of like so for stuff like that with me. I'm always like I don't think it's so much that's gonna like kill me. I just worry about like you're like in your room relaxing and it just kind of walks in. Like what if it just walked in and just kind of like looked?
I mean, I don't have an issue with it doing its job. If that's what it's supposed to be doing, I have no issue with. What I have an issue with is if there's ever a problem where it identifies me as a piece of trash to be thrown away, and it's stronger than me.
Yeah,
like, could you imagine? Like, it's like it's trying to dispose of you because it thinks you're like trash, and like you realize it's like 3 times as strong as you, and you're like, oh my god. And next thing you know, it's picked you up and it's taking you to the trash.
Or like, what if like you're in the shower and it like is just like it's like. Walks in or something, or like it's like right outside the door.
Okay, well, I'd lock the door. I mean,
or it's like right outside the door. Like it's just like waiting, like right, like it's. Would that be like?
I mean, that would be unsettling if a real person did it. So I'm pretty sure it's like pretty bad if a robot does it too.
He's got the big face and there's just like a camera, and so it's like looking. Like I don't know. It's like I'm less afraid of it killing me and more afraid of I guess just the data collection and like.
I mean, it's creepy as hell, but I mean, to some degree, if you sign up for that, you sign up for that.
I guess you would know.
I just wouldn't want it in my house because if it can take me in a fight, I don't want it around.
Right.
I do not.
That's fair. That's fair. I want to hear what people in the comments think about.
Then they announce, it's completely bulletproof. Oh hell no, I'm not doing this.
Here, I'll relate it to Yu-Gi-Oh. What if it could play Yu-Gi-Oh against you? Wouldn't that be fun?
Nah, I'm alright.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to even play against.
Because then if I get mad, it knocks me out.
It detects you as a threat. You're slow playing. Beep boop boom. Or like the turret comes out of it. It's like anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
I like them for enterprise. I like them for construction. I don't love what that would do to the job market, but there are victims of progress, and we all will be at some point.
Yeah. Well, the last application as well, if it was like a security guard, like at like Walmart or something. Like, people like steal
that
from
was
Walmart.
the one of the main like pitches for like Spot and some of the early robots as far as security.
With the police.
The this one, I don't know how useful it is for security exactly, because I don't think I'd want a bipedal design for security. I want something that's more about agility, more like I like Spot more for that. I like one of their previous robot designs for security. This one I like more for more human like work. Security, I don't need it to look human. I need to be efficient.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Sick 'em, Spot.
Yeah.
Well, you see Spot coming for you, you know you're done.
All right, well, here's a little bit of a change of pace. YouTube extends its ad block crackdown to third-party apps. So you might know YouTube has been kind of cracking down on people using ad blockers. They would really prefer that you pay for YouTube Premium, which recently had a price hike. I would know, I pay for it. So YouTube is furthering its attempts to crack down on people using ad block while watching videos, revealing that they're coming after third-party apps now. Third-party apps being like things like, I don't know if you've
Chrome extensions.
Well, they were already going after extensions, but like now it's like things like YouTube Vance, which I don't know if you've heard of this. It's like an app. I don't know if it's on iOS, but I know it's on Android, where like it's literally a alternate YouTube app that just doesn't have ads. So it's like kind of tuning into the YouTube API and like pulling the videos from it, but there's like no apps or no ads. I think like my sister uses this. Well, anyway, for almost a year, they've been cracking down on people using browser plugins to bypass ads on videos uploaded to the site. The company is now doing a way to increase the ways of like cracking down on ad blockers. On April 15th, YouTube made a post revealing that they're strengthening enforcement on third-party apps. Viewers who are using these third-party apps may experience buffering issues or see the error, the following content is not available on this app.
That's the same thing I was dealing with the Chrome extensions. I had to disable them on YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube says, we want to emphasize that our terms don't allow third-party apps to turn off ads because that prevents the creator from being rewarded for viewership, and ads on YouTube help support creators and let billions of people around the world use the streaming service.
That's true. It's good. I don't use ad blockers myself. I like supporting creators.
YouTube Revance is a very popular third-party app that allows users to watch videos on the site without ads, but the developers haven't commented on the change or how it's going to affect the app in the future. So, thoughts?
I mean, they already hit me. Like,
yeah,
I'm glad the rest of y'all taking this hit too. We all suffering together now.
Yeah, I mean, as a YouTuber, I will say, I guess it's good news. It's more potentially more money in my pocket. Right? I guess more ad revenue. But I'll be honest, YouTube ads fucking suck.
They do.
The ad experience blows.
But it could be Twitch.
It could be Twitch. Twitch is worse. Like YouTube ads. So I'll say this: the having to watch ads. There's a time when I'm willing to watch ads, and there's a time when I'm not. So I don't mind watching an ad like at the right before a video, the little 5-second skippable thing. That's actually usually not that bad for me.
Right.
It's those mid-roll ads. When you're watching a video and like it just the mid-roll shows up.
Hit you with a minute unskippable?
Yeah. I mean, it's usually not even a minute. It's usually like still like 5 seconds or something. But it's just the fact that it like interrupted your video. Like I don't mind the ad before the video. I just don't want it to interrupt my video. Especially when like sometimes like, I'll show you a video like, and it's like, oh, let's put it on the big TV, right? Like, let's watch this. And it's like, I'm kind of like immersed in it. And then like an ad just shows up at like the good part.
I gotta love you too.
And it's like, I don't really care for that. So those are the ads I don't like. But, yeah. So sounds like they don't want you getting any apps on your phone that are going to let you dodge around these ads.
I didn't even know we were doing that. I missed out on that one.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you missed out.
I didn't know.
You don't use like the YouTube too much on your phone, do you? You don't seem like.
I use the YouTube app.
Yeah, but like, do you watch videos on your phone a lot, like YouTube, or do you watch YouTube more on desktop?
I don't know. I mean, probably more on desktop, but I've used YouTube on my phone quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I don't actually watch YouTube on my phone all too much, so.
Sometimes when I'm driving, I don't watch the videos, but I'll just have them playing.
Yeah,
because that would be illegal. You should not watch YouTube while driving. I would never.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, I got YouTube Premium like a year or two ago. It's been fine. They like to raise the price every year or so. They'll kind of up it by $1.
I've been thinking about getting Premium. It's just, I don't want their expense.
The one good thing about YouTube Premium is that you can download like videos for offline viewing. It's good for flights. Mm-hmm. It's kind of been nice. Other than that, there aren't that many good features though.
Like for me,
I don't know that there's like a huge selling point. Like it's like I use it, but I don't know that I would really recommend it.
Like I'm a heavy user of YouTube Music more so than like the YouTube.
Oh yeah, it does come with YouTube Music.
And I had the YouTube Music subscription. They increased the price on it, so I was kind of mixed on it. But then I thought, well, maybe I should get the bundled version where you get YouTube Music with your YouTube Premium subscription. It still costs a little bit more, but then I'm getting 2 services and not just one.
I think that's actually worth it.
Like,
because I have YouTube. I have the one that comes with YouTube Music or whatever, and like I don't use YouTube Music much, but it's a nice it's got.
I love YouTube
good features
Music.
and stuff.
I love that I can play music once I close my phone. Mm-hmm. I can download music. I can make. I know, and there's no ads. I love that there's no ads.
Yeah. I guess the content creator in me says, all right, everybody, please buy YouTube Premium so that when you watch our videos, we'll get more revenue from it.
Yeah, guys, spend money.
But realistically, I mean, it's kind of up to you. But YouTube says it's not going to be up to you for much longer.
Yeah, taking it out of our
ruin
hands,
your experience as much as they possibly can do. Back to you.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about streaming.
Oh, boy.
So... I'm waiting for the title to load so I can read it.
What has Twitch changed this time?
Nope, not that type of streaming.
Oh.
Scott Pilgrim Takes Off creator isn't a fan of streamers releasing all episodes at once. So we're talking about Netflix and Hulu and all the other ones.
And Max. Peacock.
So that the...
Paramount. Tubi.
The quote...
Pluto TV.
All of them.
Yeah.
Ben David Grabinski. Ben David... Is that really his first name?
I met someone named Ben David.
Really?
Yeah.
BenDavid?
Like it's like one, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it's a common name. It's the dumbest shit ever, is how he puts it.
Oh, those are his words?
Those are his words.
Okay.
So, the Scott Pilgrim creator was originally created by Brian Lee, the Scott Pilgrim character was originally created by Brian Lee O'Malley. But for the recent streaming hit Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, O'Malley teamed up with Netflix and Ben David Grabinski in order to bring the animated project to life. However, even if the show won over fans and critics, Grabinski isn't exactly happy with how it was released. In an X/Twitter post, because it's still Twitter, but it's also X, the creator outlined his thoughts on streaming dumps. Here it is. As someone who had his whole season drop all at once at the same time, it's the dumbest shit ever. So Grabinski clearly was not a fan of that strategy.
Yeah, so he does not like, let me get this straight. He does not like the idea of the show kind of all the episodes just dropping at once, like on Netflix or whatever site.
He'd rather the weekly drip feed.
He wants the weekly drip feed akin to something like Game of Thrones or like The Walking Dead, I think also.
Yeah,
like
those like cable kind of syndicated weekly things.
Okay.
It says some streamers are opting for different ways to throw out their shows rather than just have all episodes pop up at once. Disney Plus often takes a weekly release schedule for its bigger shows, and Netflix has notably been opting to release some shows in parts. Prime Video is a bit of a mixed bag, as some shows release episodes weekly, while Fallout dropped everything at once. And then it just kind of asks, like, how do you like to watch shows? So I'll pose that question to you, Paul. How do you like to watch your shows?
So, I mean, I guess for stuff that's on Netflix, because those tend to be kind of more the live action shows that I watch on there, I like that they're bingeable from the start. I like being able to, like, with those Marvel Netflix shows, I really liked those. I like Jessica Jones and Daredevil. I loved being able to binge them. When I watched live action One Piece, I like being able to binge that. All those live action ones, the stories are so juicy, I kind of want to just finish it. Like, I get really invested fast, and, like, I want to be able to, like, see it in, not even necessarily one sitting, but, like, over the course of maybe just 2 or 3 nights, I can just get through, like, all the show. With anime, because I watch a lot more anime than I watch any of that other stuff, I don't really mind the weekly thing. Because I can, like, follow many different anime. Like, if I'm, like, following, like, 10 anime in a season or something, then I've got, like, something to watch each day. Like, it's just like, oh, a new episode of this on Wednesdays, and this is on Thursdays, and this is on Fridays. So that's usually fine by me for anime. Would I prefer if anime dropped in, like, a bingeable, just here's all the episodes at once? Sure. But I think for live action, it's more, that feels more important to me. Now, regarding Scott Pilgrim itself, because I remember we watched that. We watched it together with Alex. I liked that show. I think that it was... The structure of that show certainly seemed like it was kind of... I don't want to say intended to be a weekly thing, but it was like closer... It was like an anime, really, not like a live action show. So like I could see watching that like once a week and being okay with it. But I don't know which is better.
I mean, I think it's
I lean towards I like being able to binge it. I lean towards I like being able to binge it.
Like for me personally, I like to binge everything and everything that I do. I prefer to binge every type of content that there is.
Yeah.
But I completely understand why Grabinski and others would dislike this method. Because I've been a fan of The Walking Dead. I've been a fan of Game of Thrones. I've seen what the weekly release schedule can do and what it can bring to a show.
Yeah.
When you drop all at once, it's a hot topic for the week that you drop it, and then everyone moves on to something else. Mm-hmm. When you're weekly, if your show is good, you get this wave of interest and commentary every single release.
Week. Yeah,
every week for the length of your show.
So see, that's what they want. Like I think every company kind of ideally would like a just each week people are talking about your show, they're communicating about it, they're tweeting and like kind of anticipating it, and they're having like, you remember the Game of Thrones watch parties?
Yeah, I was there.
Like you were one of did y'all like have cosplay or?
We didn't do cosplay, but
I heard
we would get together,
cosplay.
We would eat, we would drink, and we would watch some Game of Thrones. Then we watched the interviews after the episodes.
Yeah, people, and it kind of made it a thing. Everybody's collectively watching together. I think The Last of Us, that was one kind of recently that people were, each episode felt like a big cultural moment.
Thing is, but I think, and I see that's objectively good. Mm-hmm. That I don't think there's any TV show that would say no to that.
Yeah, they want that over the 6 or 8 week period or whatever.
But I feel like we're chasing dragons here, mythical creatures. The shows that have these moments are especially good shows. And there are so many shows that release weekly that do not have that effect.
Yeah. There are a lot of shows where it could actually fall off just quickly over time.
I mean, and even with those giant shows, they had fall off. Game of Thrones last episode, its last episode had a boost, but like the third to last episode paled in comparison in viewership to its very first episode. That's how it is for all TV. And when you draw it out, you're giving more people time to fall off from your show. So
what you're maybe saying, if I'm understanding this correctly, is that if you're a good show, then you can kind of do either one.
Yeah.
If it's a maybe bad, or we won't say bad,
maybe not as critically well received,
critically acclaimed, like super popular show, then it's probably in your best interest to at least get it all out at once, because that way people can, if they do like it, they can binge it and like have the full experience, have a good opinion on it, and like walk away satisfied, as opposed to like, oh, the first episode didn't grip me and I won't come back for episode 2. Like,
you never have to see your show kind of
die a slow death.
Yes, slowly wither up. Because I mean, a lot of shows that happens. Their pilot episode, great viewership. Their second episode has like a pretty big fall off, and it just keeps declining until you get to your last episode, and you get a slight bump, but not a huge bump, and that is like, and that's how your show ends. Kind of only with its most core fans, but still a far cry from when it released. So if you had the power of foresight and you knew your show wasn't going to be Game of Thrones, maybe you do just release it all at once. And that way, the show for a lot of people is a package deal. They binge the whole thing one weekend, and that show will always be remembered to them as this great show, and you might actually get more people finishing it top to bottom.
I think it also makes the show more recommendable. If you like it, you can... So if it's like bingeable all at once, then I watched it, maybe it wasn't critically acclaimed, I can at least tell you, my friend, and now you can go and watch it all too. Because it'd be kind of awkward if like, well, I watched this new show and I kind of think it's promising, but like episode 1's a little slow. I'm going to try to watch it next week. But I can't tell my less interested friend that.
Right.
They'll just kind of be like, okay, well, there's not enough to like, because like people's tastes are finicky. Like these days, like if you think about just how fast we tear through the news cycle, I mean, like literally on this podcast, right? Like talk about like 10 different stories, but like if you think about just, there's always a new show dropping, there's always a new game dropping, there's always a new update or patch to your favorite, live service game or trading card game or just mobile game. There's always something new. This banner's running. This expansion's happening. This show's getting its season 4. This show's getting its season 3. Like, this anime season. So it's like, I guess I see where he's coming from in that like he would ideally want like each week just stagger out the popularity and the relevance in people's minds, because sticking in the zeitgeist for even longer than like a week is rough. But then, I don't think that that's a thing that every show can do.
Yeah, I don't think like weekly is always the answer to that. If anything, weekly is harder to stay in people's minds because now the like streaming gets democratized a bit. If we're all premiering our shows weekly, that means viewers have a lot of time to try out everybody's episodes in between like your episode's release. So I drop episode 1, hype. Everyone's like, yeah, this is my stuff. And now everyone else's episodes for the week come out.
Now there's time to be distracted.
Oh, I'm hyped about this. I'm hyped about that. And then
you might just forget to.
There's a real chance you weren't as hype as the others, and now they've forgotten to watch your episode 2 or your episode 3. And because every week that passes is more time for people to like just shift their focus somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, like in the case of like Scott Pilgrim, could they have gotten away with weekly? Maybe. I mean,
people seem to like Scott Pilgrim. I heard a lot of people talking about it.
I can tell you this: I didn't watch it immediately when it came out.
Yeah,
so
it was like
weekly wouldn't have helped for me. But
yeah. Well, that's a good segue into my last story, which is that Disney reportedly wants to bring always-on channels to Disney Plus.
Oh, okay, I saw this.
Yeah. So basically, the channels could include content dedicated to Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, and more, the information reports. So yeah, basically, the revamped Disney Plus app could soon feature always-on channels that are dedicated to Star Wars and Marvel shows, according to a report from the information. The channels, which are reportedly similar to those on free ad-supported streaming services like Pluto or Tubi, could take away the choice when it comes to picking out what to watch next. In addition to Star Wars and Marvel series, Disney's lineup of channels could also feature stations that continuously stream Disney's classic animated films or movies from Pixar. Even though viewers would need a Disney Plus subscription to tune into the channels, they will likely still contain ads, just like traditional television.
Oh, that's lame.
So, there aren't any details about when this could launch, and Disney declined to comment, but the rumored move aligns with Disney's goals of keeping viewers glued to its Disney Plus app, which also now includes a tile for Hulu. So, good, bad? Like just a channel, like I just want to watch Star Wars all day.
So, from a business standpoint, good.
Yeah.
Practically, bad.
Really?
And here's my reasoning. No, I don't think there's anybody that wants to pay for Disney Plus and then watch whatever Disney Plus tells you to with ads. I don't think there's anybody who really wants that.
I'm not so sure.
Who would want that as opposed to just picking what you want to watch?
That's the thing, actually. So I would have maybe agreed like 10 years ago, maybe even 5. But the most popular video watching app right now that also doesn't offer you any choice as to what you're shown next, and people love it?
What?
TikTok.
But okay. TikTok is free.
TikTok is free. It does have ads. Now, with Disney Plus, the idea, I think, would be that you already pay for Disney Plus. You've already got your subscription, right? Like that's the plan. This is just, I just don't know what to watch, and I kind of just like Star Wars. I'll just set it to just play Star Wars all day. There are people who don't like the choice-making aspect. They want like something to just sort of like play in front of them. So to be clear, I'm really playing devil's advocate, right? Like, I don't like the sound of this. I think I usually know what I want to watch, and I know when I want to stop, and like all that stuff. But I think that the average like person who just likes to view stuff might just turn this on and just kind of sit back and let it rock. Or maybe the real use case that Disney's imagining is kids. Like, you put this on for your kids, they're like, 4 or 5 years old, they like Marvel and Star Wars, and it's just playing all day.
To distract your kids, yeah. I could see that. But the thing is, you're paying for Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. I don't think there are, and there's plenty of people who've already dropped their Disney Plus subscriptions. I don't know if there are many people right now paying for Disney Plus that want to pay to not choose. There's a weird, they're going for a lot here. Tubi and them, they get away with it because they're free.
Yeah.
I think if Disney Plus was offering this as like a free version of Disney Plus, I would be like, okay, that's good. That lines up with making different product tiers for different types of customers. This doesn't make any sense to me, or it doesn't make as much sense to me from a consumer point of view. I already pay for content to watch.
So it's because of those. So it's for you. Is it those ads that's really?
Yeah.
So you're saying that if this was a feature and there weren't ads because you're paying, so that
then it just feels like an extra feature. Then it's a cool extra feature. But you sticking an extra feature in that has ads, like, what am I paying you for? Because I could watch all of this on demand. There better not be ads in that.
Yeah. I'm interested in seeing like what the use case for it is. Again, I think kids comes up first. Throw this thing on, the kids watch it.
Distract them.
They're happy. And they're not shouting and screaming and making a mess, right? They're still doing that.
They might still be doing it. Depending which Star Wars you're watching.
But I think like in a general sense, it's probably the kids and families, and they just want them to be watching Star Wars all day long.
And from a business point of view, A1.
Yeah, no, that's great to have your eyes on
A1.
it forever. Because the likelihood, sorry.
I was gonna say that they have an immense backlog and catalog of content.
They have enough that they can play forever.
That doesn't even, people don't choose to watch a lot of those shows.
So it gets to have watch time now.
So they can make use of all of that stuff that they don't really use.
Yeah. Not to mention, I think that the average amount of time spent on the app would increase. Just because, if you think about, you go to Disney Plus because you want to watch an episode of Sandland, right?
Yeah, let's say.
And then you're like, once you watch this episode or these couple episodes,
hop off.
Then you're done, you hop off. If it literally just automatically played something else, what's the chance that you'll hop off? Still high, right? Still high, but some people won't. Some people, they plan to leave. They plan to watch their episode of this thing and go, but something's already playing. So, I might as well.
If I hear an ad, I'm turning it off. I don't care what the situation
I think Disney's smart. It's not going to be an ad every time. I mean, it might be an ad every other episode. It might be enough to kind of just keep you there. And then once you've gotten invested in that next thing, now you've built up a slight higher tolerance for the ad that will follow. And I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but I think that they've just got evil geniuses who've really mathed out the general consumer's tolerance to ads and all this stuff. YouTube even, I remember getting into very inside baseballish stuff. I remember this was some years ago, I don't know if it's like this now. They had made it where you will not be served an ad more than once every 7 minutes on YouTube, and that's across videos.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's since changed, it kind of feels like it has. But where they were just okay, this is people's tolerance level. So even if I watch one 3-minute video, then another 3-minute video, then another 3-minute video, I won't get an ad until in that third video and stuff like that. So I think Disney's got a plan here, but it's not a feature for me because I already don't like TikTok and Instagram Reels. I don't like being forced into just fed the content so much.
And I don't even know if many people would get a Disney Plus subscription for this, given that Tubi and Pluto TV exist.
Yeah, but they don't have Disney stuff on them, I guess. So
they don't.
If you're enough of a Disney fan,
when you're balling on a budget, what you care if your kids watch Disney? You can watch low budget Disney at home.
You can watch Time to Duel. Okay, well that's my last story.
Yeah, mine.
You got any more? Cool. Great. Time to do some pot of greed questions.
It took us a while to get here, but we made it.
Yeah, this is a long episode. You guys be grateful.
Look, guys, it was the ban list, man.
It's the best time in Yu-Gi-Oh. We did add the cards in this time, by the way.
Yes, we did, despite not having the sticky notes still.
Yeah, we don't have sticky notes, so we had to write them on sleeves, so it's actually kind of hard to know what I'm pulling out here, but hopefully I don't smear the. Okay.
I mean, by now
I've drawn my 2 cards.
Let me see. Let me grab Uno.
Okay, it didn't smear off too bad.
Nope, that doesn't have anything on it.
Yeah, we're things are a little crazy around here, you could say.
Okay, here we go. All right, I got two, Paul.
All right, take us away.
All right, so does the ladder system in Master Duel create a positive or negative mentality?
Oh, this feels like a question custom built for me.
Yeah, how does laddering make you feel?
I haven't really thought much about it for myself because I just ladder and kind of play, but maybe that's the answer in and of itself is that laddering for me is kind of a pleasant experience. I don't feel like I have to...
Because you win most of your games because you're good at this.
Well, no, it's just... for me, it's like I'm able to kind of like queue up fast. Like I'm one of those people where, good athletes have a short memory. I tend to have a pretty short memory just about like my duels. When I get into a duel, I'm really into it. Like... But then, like, the moment it's over, it's like, it's fine. Next duel. Like, I'm literally, like, sometimes, like, I'll lose a duel, right, in the most frustrating way. And I'm, like, angry. And the moment I hit Q up again, it's, like, out of my mind. And I think that for regular Yu-Gi-Oh!, sometimes that's not, like, as much the case. It's easier to kind of sit on your, why you lost that last round. And you have to kind of talk to people about it, like, how'd your round go? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I hate that part of it.
Yeah. But, like, for me in Master Duel, I think it helps me. However, I do think that, like, it's not a very social experience. Like, it's sort of weird that in a modern game like this, like a modern online sort of live service game, that, like, there isn't really a chat function.
Thank God.
And all that stuff. And so, like, it could certainly feel a bit lonely. But I don't care because I don't want to make friends with the people I play on Master Duel.
I just remember seeing those old Dueling Network screenshots. Yeah. Salty Dueling Network messages. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, call it a slur or 3. Yeah, well, so to answer the question, for me it's fine and I like it. It brings me back to like, I think Master Duel maybe needs more social, like more casual modes so that it can be a little bit more, like you can maybe relax on the ladder and not maybe feel too tense or something like that.
I mean, I don't know. With laddering is inherently stressful. Mm-hmm. The more you put into it, I don't play as much Master Duel, but I play a lot of Street Fighter on the ladder. And interestingly enough, ranked Street Fighter play is how most people and Capcom themselves say you should get, like, how you should play most of the game.
Yeah.
There are people who they avoid ranked in Street Fighter because I don't want to lose my rank. I'm so scared. I get so stressed out and anxious when I play, but look, that's actually how you get better. At least now, Master Duel isn't the same, but at least in Street Fighter, they do a very good job of matching you with people at your skill level.
Yeah, people want to not so much.
In Street Fighter, they like to hang out in the casual mode, or they want to go play in the battle hub, where they end up in these huge like skill disparities, where they're either like bashing their head against people they cannot beat, or they're crushing noobs that very easily. And like, well, you're not actually making any progress at all. Go play ranked.
I think there is one thing I have noticed, and I tell you about this oftentimes. People quit way too goddamn fast on Master Duel, and I sometimes wonder if ladder has something to do with that. It might just be more of like the digital game interface in general, where like I think people would not scoop as often in person as they do, or at least as quickly in person as they do in Master Duel. I mean, like I have people you activate one like Max C, they quit. You activate Ash, they quit. You play Prosperity, the first card they see is a card they don't want to play against, they quit. You normal summon a monster, they quit. Like people quit so fast on Master Duel. In like Diamond rank, Master rank.
I've played a few different games competitively. Not successfully, mind you, but I have played them competitively. And only in Yu-Gi-Oh! Do I see people so quick to hit the quit button. People do it. I've played Overwatch competitively in ranked, not like in Overwatch League, but I played Overwatch competitively. People have quit. It does not happen that often. I played Street Fighter competitively. People have quit. It doesn't happen that often. And I've played, I'm forgetting a game, but there's another game I've played competitively. And people have quit. It does not happen nearly as often as it does in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like it just feels like people have the constitution of like wet paper, and it just, you see one card you don't like, and people just, I think that they mentally give up so fast. Like it's just, oh my god, he asked this one thing, like I can't win now. I can't win. It's all over. I quit.
Oh wait, they used to do that a lot in Overwatch. Never mind.
And so, I mean, I think like with Yu-Gi-Oh, I get that it is a game where the turns can take a long time. So maybe it's like, okay, if your starter card got negated and you have no more plays, then like you don't want to sit through the potentially like 5-10 minute turn or whatever that your opponent's going to do. But I've just had so many games where like I've opened with a very bricky hand and people have quit anyway. And I'm just like, I literally wasn't going to win that game. I had no business winning that game. But because like you messed up a piece of the combo, you're just out of there. And I'm always just like, you got to like stick with it. I know I've done this rant on here before, so I'm not going to do it again. But I think people just quit too easily.
I do think that's kind of across the board to some degree. Because
So
I do remember playing Overwatch, and I played a lot of ranked in Overwatch, and I remember there were a lot of people who they would decide whether or not they'd stay in the game based off how the very first team fight would go, and they like the first team fight would happen, that one side gets crushed, someone leaves, and now the game is over for everyone. Then Overwatch also had this BS system of you're all locked in, even though someone left and one team cannot win anymore. Yeah, they would lock you in for a mandatory amount of time.
That's its own
that
issue. I mean, sometimes I think like Yu-Gi-Oh should lock people in. Maybe that sounds a little too like intense, but like you're locked in here, buddy. Like you can't leave. If you want to, you gotta like turn the game off, and then you get penalized. I think that's how it should be.
Your opponent starts FTKing you, and it's like, oh no, you can't leave. You have to stay for the FTK.
All right, my question: what's your favorite piece of Yu-Gi-Oh merch that's been made? And also, by extension, what is a piece of merch that maybe another game or anime has made that you would like to see Yu-Gi-Oh do?
Oh, that's tough.
To answer the first question, my favorite piece of Yu-Gi-Oh merch? The Pot of Greed, if that counts.
That's fair.
I mean, I think the Pot of Greed, like these ceramic kind of things. But if I had to give a broad answer, all that stuff that Bandai makes is awesome. Like, they do a really good job. It's the Bandai, like the Millennium Rod, the enemy controller.
Those are cool.
I think that stuff's really cool. Maybe if I had to go with something that's...
Oh, I know mine.
Like, maybe more like plain. I like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Funko Pops. I don't normally like Funko Pops. I am not a Funko collector, and I honestly have my suspicions about, like... That's a different story. But I like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Funko Pops. I think that they're nice. And they're cheap too. And they make like good gifts.
Better than most Funkos, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite piece of merch is actually the Monster Collection figures.
Okay.
Oh,
you got some?
Yeah, I got the Dark Paladin and the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and I really like those. They remind me of Funko Pops and even like Nintendo's Amiibos, where they're smaller, more collectible figures. Or in this case, we're statues, but there's a lot of quality. And I can just get my favorite classic monsters and just collect them.
The size thing is very true, because as we've been realizing, like lately, these like
the giant
the
things,
big ass first four figures things, love them to death. Very detailed, very high quality. They've got weight, they've got heft, they've got build quality, but they're really big.
It's a lot, yo.
They're hard to move around. They're hard to display. Like, you know, I want to have like, I want to have the 3 God cards, or I want to have like, you know, the Dark Magician and the Blue Eyes.
3 giant pedestals.
But it's like, you better have like a really big place to display this stuff, because it's heavy, and then like if you move it the wrong way, then you might damage it. So it's like, I think that's kind of why I like the Funkos too, is they're small enough to
just kind of like
move around easily. You can keep them in their boxes,
yeah,
and they can still be displayed. So cool. Okay.
What was the second part of that question?
Oh, the second one was like, is there anything like another game has done that you'd like to see Yu-Gi-Oh do? My answer to this would have been like Gunpla models, but now that they seem to be doing that,
they do that.
They've been doing a few of those like build models that's kind of been filled.
Mine is like premium Bandai exclusive products with the like how they do the One Piece and Digimon collections, the binders, the deck boxes and stuff. All first party limited availability merch, lots of alternate arts,
What it really feels, what I'm hearing is you just want to live in the OCG land. You want to be in Japan because that stuff kind of all exists there to varying degrees. That is true. Okay, back to you.
I have. When do you feel like Yu-Gi-Oh became modern Yu-Gi-Oh? So when did the dreaded term modern Yu-Gi-Oh begin?
Like a year, a set, a deck.
I think I know my answer.
Okay. What's your answer?
Right after toss format.
Go on.
I feel like toss format is where the mid-range deck started to fall. Like Sky Striker was great. But we started getting this taste of what combo decks were going to become.
Yeah.
We had Dragon Link was on the horizon. We were getting the what are they called? The guy Pisty and
the guard dragons.
Yeah, the guard dragons.
They were kind of coming out.
The guard dragons were coming out. Like the true combo supremacy was right around the corner. And they banned my boy Karasu. But
for me, it actually started like I'd say like around 2017, like mid 2017. With like Zodiac and True Draco. Mostly because we all know like Zodiac was kind of nuts. It was like a tier 0 thing, and it had like that one little infinite thing with the Elder Entity and like the
and
that
Azathoth.
Yeah, it had like the Azathoth lock, and there were all these things, and also like Master. It to me was like. It was when like we got to see like this is kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh's gonna get. Decks are gonna be really nasty. They're gonna do mean things to you. Like Masterpiece is gonna be like unaffected by stuff and have a quick effect pop, and it can like summon itself really easily and then blah 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 blah. And it's super consistent. And like Zodiacs are just cheating a summoning mechanic and all that stuff. And so it to me that's kind of where it was. And also like Ash Blossom came out that year, which to me kind of symbolized the change from hand traps being like. You play Baylor and it's like good to like, okay, like Ash hits everything, and it's needed now. Like
it's weird. Actually, I consider that like pre-modern.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only where it started. Like it's only kind of gone, depending on who you ask, up or downhill from there. But that's like where I think that you kind of see the first shades of what most would consider modern Yu-Gi-Oh.
Because like for me, so. If we say that the hand trap that defines your modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Ash, the hand trap that defines my modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Infinite Impermanence.
Yeah, fair. Impermanence, I know, that came out in like 2018. And then like Toss was kind of 2019. So I get what you mean. It's like right around that.
Somewhere in that area.
In that time period. Yeah, I mean, I think that as for whatever we're entering now, this almost feels like post-modern Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point. Like, where decks are playing in each other's turns, and like so many decks get all their resources back like at the end of each turn, stuff like, and so many of them do like just Branded, Labyrinth, Rescue Ace, like, Snake Eye, like it feels like everything just.
Given the way the effects work, essentially turn 1 is both you and your opponent's first turn because both you and your opponent's cards are live on each other's turns.
Yeah, everyone's cards are live at all
turn
times.
1 ends like when
0.
both of you have had your first turn.
Yeah, and when you look at these decks, like, that just get everything back, it's like, there's kind of an understanding that, like, you end your turn with the plays for next turn already on deck, half the stuff's been recovered already, the hard ones per turns matter less because they're happening on both turns now.
Yep.
It's different story for a different podcast. Okay, here's my final question.
What you got?
What is you guys' favorite duel against each other, on or off camera?
My favorite duel against you? Oh, that's tough. That's it.
I don't actually have like a hyper specific one.
What you got?
But I think my overall like peak duels against you were in Rare Hunters.
Oh, Rare Hunters.
Rare Hunters.
Those are my favorite on camera duels.
Particularly like the first half of Rare Hunters, the first half of those duels,
those are good,
just gold. There were so many, and like normally in our duels, it's kind of no secret. Like we script a lot of duels.
sometimes the matchup is not working.
Like sometimes, like with like weird sealed product, we'll just kind of fix our hands and do this. I think anybody who's watched this for a long enough time kind of knows. But with Rare Hunters, actually, we like didn't do that. Like we would just
for the longest time we just went at it.
Like we just would actually like play these duels, and so
I left some of those games very salty.
Yeah, and so I found those duels to be really fun. It just brought me back to kind of classic Yu-Gi-Oh. Our decks were never perfect because like we had limited amounts of cards,
but we had Pot of Greed.
But we had like Pot of Greeds would always show up. There'd always be like those cards. It's like, oh my god, Alec is like paying 1,000 to use Delinquent Duo, or it's like, oh, I just top deck swords and to like to BS
that
a win,
me back,
or
man.
It's like, oh, I had to deal with Alec's 2 Man-Eater bugs in his deck, but it's like, oh, but I have like this or whatever. Like I got the Mirror Force, and so suddenly like those were really fun. I enjoyed those.
Yeah, I actually have to agree with you there. On-screen duels, Rare Hunters. Off camera, my favorite duels with you are actually our train ride to YCS Chicago.
Oh, that was Nats 2017.
Was that Nats?
In
Okay,
Chicago.
that was Nats.
We were stuck on a train basically.
Yep, we were. For context, we don't know if we told this story too many times, but we were on our way to Nats that year. What year?
2017.
2017. And we had the bright idea to take a train.
The Amtrak train.
The train got delayed.
A lot.
It got delayed. We had no money for food or water, and we're kind of just dying on the train. And so we just played Yu-Gi-Oh! To like get by. We were hungry. We were thirsty. At one point, I think the AC went out.
The AC went out at some point. I remember being very out of it. Like we were playing these duels. I remember doing the duels, but I remember not being very enthused about them because I was just half dead.
We started it like intent because I thought we're practicing for Nats. By the end of it, we were just forcing cards on the table to have something to do while this train is not moving for hour number 2.
Don't remind me. That's hour, in some cases like hour 5, 6.
Because it would just stop in the middle of the night. We'd go to sleep and the train had moved for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was bad. Don't take do not take the Amtrak train if you're in a hurry to get somewhere. If you got all the time in the world and you want this little scenic route, sure.
If you have a hard date, you need to be somewhere. Do not take the Amtrak.
There was a guy on the train that same trip who was trying to get to his friend's wedding or something.
They missed that wedding.
He was supposed to be best man at his friend's wedding or something like that.
We were outside the city, stopped.
Yeah, we were
hours.
An hour or 2 outside the city, and we were stopped for 8-10 hours, and he just had
He had to miss it. There's nothing he could do.
Cool. Okay, I guess that's long episode. I think we just set our record.
Good episode.
This week. Yeah.
What is it? Oh my gosh.
250.
Almost 3 hours, y'all.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We will have something special planned for our anniversary.
That's right, guys. We remembered this year.
That'll be number 52. So be prepared for that. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Shout out to everybody who's been watching the premiere. Press ones again in chat if you don't mind.
Real ones.
Drop a like, everything else. And we appreciate you guys who submit questions through the submission form. We love to read them and answer them. And also, if you leave a positive review or a thumbs up or whatever, that goes a long way as well.
All right, then, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Pass turn.